this season, some CFL coaches are feeling the heat. Don Sutherland and Jeff Reinbold are a combined 1-7 to start the year. Reinbold hoping an inexperienced Chris Vargas can lead them down the field. On defense, he needs veterans like Greg Battle to rekindle that much-needed leadership. In Hamilton, Don Sutherland has his own quarterbacking dilemma. Anthony Cavillo is still hurting, so the Ticats must go with rookie Mike Colley again. Sutherland and Reinbold looking to take some of the heat off next. Live from Winnipeg Stadium, it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, on Friday Night Football. As usual, we are live and interactive here at TSN, so if you like, get on the net and play QB1 throughout this football game. And welcome to Friday Night Football Control. I'm Rod Smith. 2 weeks ago, these two teams met, and it was Jeff Reinbold smiling at the end. His first career win as a CFL head coach. Both he and especially Don Sutherland need the win even more tonight. Let's head up to Winnipeg Stadium now and get the thoughts of John Wells, Glenn Suter, and David Archer.
Rod, the big story in Winnipeg is the new running back, Ronald Williams, who already has more yards in 4 games for the Blue Bombers this year, Glenn Suter, than any running back in Winnipeg managed to accomplish all of last season.
They're pretty excited about him. Here's a guy that was behind Corey Philpott in BC last year, and Coach Reinbold was there and knows what Ron Williams can do. Last week versus the Lions, he had a huge game. Rushed for 190 yards and 1 touchdown. Really had his way with the BC Lions defense, and they're looking for another big game out of him tonight. It's a good matchup because Hamilton's defense is pretty good against the run, and 2 weeks ago held Ron Williams to 52 yards on the ground. So this is a good matchup. Kelvin Tiggle in the middle to stop the run, and Ron Williams pounding it up in there.
And for the Tiger Cats, it's another week without the #1 quarterback. How does Mike Colley fare against the Blue Bombers here tonight?
Well, Anthony Calvillo out again for the 2nd week, and Colley's pressed into action. His 2nd start, very excitable young man. I talked to him on the field, and he just can't wait to get started. The thing that he's got going for him is he's got an old veteran coming back, a guy named Earl Winfield that's done a heck of a lot of things for this Ticat team. So I think Colley's going to probably throw a few balls his direction, but he's going to have to spread it around, get everybody involved. He's got Archie Amerson, who's done a great job for him. I'm looking forward to getting started.
Valor Winfield says that one man can't do it all, but I think he will be an inspirational lift for the Tiger Cats if you get the feeling from the sidelines, and that's a true indication here in Winnipeg tonight. Rod?
Thank you, John. Yes, Earl Winfield should be a nice addition for the Ticats, and they need it badly. But, Obi, the quarterbacking situation, that should help out Mike Colley. He and Chris Vargas, though, in a similar situation as young guys, still trying to prove themselves and feel their way along.
I think this is the game where you have young quarterbacks, the young veteran and Chris Vargas and the rookie and Mike Colley trying to get it together tonight. And when you look at the two teams, there's some interesting changes in the receiving cores. Winnipeg's brought in a guy named Torhan O'Bannon that's going to be a big slot in there, and they're going to have him playing there because Shalom Baker is hurt, and he's out of the lineup, so they've moved Boyko out to wideout. And then you look at Hamilton, their best receiver to date has been Bert Thornton, and he's moved inside of the slot back to give them 2 big slots with Morielli and him, and then, of course, Earl there. So I'm anxious to see which one of those receiving cores is going to make their quarterback look the best.
And also for Hamilton, they have some defensive changes that could help them. They've added 2 good American defensive people, one at linebacker with Melvin Aldrich, and they have a replacement for Mike Campbell at defensive line and Willie Whitehead, which adds an American on the defensive line to strengthen up already a strong defense.
Marty York of the Globe and Mail with us as well for his picks. And Marty always told me, when things are going well, I don't mind if you mention it, but if I ever get below 500 with my picks, just don't say anything. So I'm not going to say anything tonight, Marty. How do you feel
well,
about
you know
your
what,
picks?
Rod? I spent all night thinking of how to get out of this slump. So I know all of Canada's depending on me. So I came up with a scientific approach, okay? I'm going to use gravity and trajectory and velocity, and I'm going to reach lofty heights. I'm flipping a coin. What is that, Les?
Tails.
Tails? Okay, that means I take... Las Vegas is favoring Winnipeg by 3 points, and I'm going to go with Winnipeg. Remember that the Bombers beat the Ticats 33-18 in Hamilton only 2 weeks ago, so they know they can win in Winnipeg tonight. And the Ticats have the worst offense in the CFL. Vargas, on the other hand, is a quarterback who does not make a lot of mistakes. He's not flashy, he's not... but he is steady. He's only thrown 1 interception. So, take the Bombers, lay the points, and don't give up on me, Canada. I'm coming back.
Oh, yes, Marty York revealing his secret weapon, and we're all flipping over that. Well, the Ticats maybe have a secret weapon in this guy, except it's no secret how he's done in the past. They hope Earl Winfield can get it done in the present. They need a win badly. Looking forward in Winnipeg tonight. Friday Night Football, the kickoff, coming up next.
Bombers won in Hamilton 2 weeks ago. It was a solid victory for Winnipeg, but the Bombers did get a couple of breaks in that one, Suits.
Well, there was some positive things out of the game film for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers from last week, even though it was an emotional loss for them in BC.
Bombers with their interesting kickoff formation ready to get things underway on Friday night in Winnipeg. Coming down to a Sunday Smith. Nice return. Tiger Cats will begin out near the 40. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Midas. Mike Colley gets his second straight start as the Tiger Cat quarterback. He knows how to run and throw. Right now he has to figure out when.
He's got a young offensive group. He's got some good people in there with Archie Amerson and Marcus Thomas, and then the offensive line. They've complained about some confusion up front.
Ticats just shy of the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Thornton and Earl Winfield are the wide receivers in this formation. And a flag in the very first offensive play.
Illegal procedure. Hamilton 64.
The right tackle, Peter Shorts, and a little more frustration for this guy.
You know, Sudsy, they're talking about Sudsy and talking about how he's had some problems with his people, but he's done a great job of assembling some young talent.
Well, Jeff Reinbold celebrated his first win as a head coach against this very Hamilton Ticat team. Lost last week in Vancouver. Still looking for his first win in front of the hometown fans that really have embraced his new way of doing things.
1st and 15, Hamilton. Colley uses the shotgun. Had to unload in a hurry. He has Thomas, and Thomas has a big gain. Better than halfway to a first down, but he needed 15. Little pressure on Colley. We expected that.
Well, this is a screen pass, so you're going to get a little pressure. It's timing by the offensive line. They're going to do 1,001, 1,002, and 1,003 and turn them loose. And then Colley's going to get popped, but he gets the ball to the running back for a nice gain.
2nd and short facing the Tiger Cats. It didn't look this bright a second or two ago. 2nd and 3. Cats out across the 47. Amerson got the call, and he stopped well short of the first down. Wrapped up by Shante Peoples, or at least he's celebrating the most down there.
Shante Peoples going to move around. They're going to play a little bit of 34, or they're going to go with some 43 up front. Peoples is going to get involved from both respects. He just folds underneath, makes a pretty good play in the backfield on a good running back.
Peoples made the play, and Archie Amerson, who's been averaging 4.8 yards per carry for the Tiger Cats. This is his 3rd start tonight. That brings Osbaldiston in. Into the breeze. It's a low kick taken by Bomber quarterback Chris Vargas still finding his way as a CFL starter. He's 5th in passing efficiency and thrown just 1 interception so far.
Well, Chris is trying to find a go-to guy. They had hoped that Milt Stiegel would be that guy, but nobody's really stepped up for him. And he's got a great offensive line in front of him. Ronald Williams is one of the best running backs in the league.
Because of these guys.
Exactly.
Vargas and the Blue Bombers beginning back at the 32. Full house backfield. No wide receivers. Now they split the formation. Ronald Williams hard running inside. And Hitchcock made the tackle. 42 Hamilton.
Well, we mentioned it in the opening how Ron Williams coming off the big game, 190 yards versus the BC Lions. Now, this defense over in Hamilton here is a little bit different than you saw in BC. BC did a lot of stunting with their linebackers, and Hamilton are going to leave them at home. So Ron Williams and Calvin Tiggle will get acquainted throughout this game.
Williams picks up a tough 6 yards. Vargas will put it up. And Stiegel has the first down. Grabbed by Steinauer with some help from Melvin Aldridge.
Well, this is a good read by Stiegel and by Chris Vargas. It's a zone coverage. Stiegel's going to sit down in a hole, and Vargas tags him with the football.
16 yards the gain. Winnipeg out at midfield and quickly. 100-yard gain in BC last week for Milt Stiegel. He is the only receiver good enough from last year to make this Blue Bomber team. Those are the words of Jeff Reinbold. Play action. Stiegel is picked up. Justin Ring has his first interception of the season. First turnover of the ball game goes to the Hamilton Tiger Cats as Chris Vargas heads to the sideline with his second interception of the season on the board.
Friday Night Football tonight.
Friday Night Football on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
First up for Friday Night Football in Winnipeg. First turnover goes to the Tiger Cats. Justin Ring.
David Archer, who was Chris Vargas throwing this football to? It looks like Justin Ring was the only guy in the area.
Yeah, he got hit right in the back just as he tried to let that one go, and I don't think he got as much on it as he wanted to.
Ticats at the Hamilton 50 set up with a first down. Earl Winfield to the near side. Number 1. Amerson flips it to Thornton. Loose ball in the backfield. It's right back to Winnipeg. Darnell Small has the ball.
Well, this is a classic mistake by a young player. This was designed to be a reverse, and Archie Amerson was supposed to hand the ball off to Bert Thornton. He couldn't get close to him, so he pitched it. The play was broken up by the defense, Glenn. He should have held on to it.
Well, Dave, I also wonder about the play call, just because when you have a young team like they have in Hamilton, 3 things bad can happen. There's the exchange from center. Now you got an exchange to the running back, and you have to get an exchange there on the reverse. I mean, there's a lot of bad things going to happen, and it did for Hamilton on the play.
Carthen was in the backfield. Back-to-back turnovers. First down, Winnipeg. Tough running for Ronald Williams. He has a couple.
Well, one change up front for the Hamilton front 7, and that's Willie Whitehead will place Mike Campbell at the tackle position. Calvin Tiggle anchors the middle, and in the secondary, Eric Carter, one of the best cover men in the league, and Alondo Staunar has 2 interceptions on the other corner.
A legal substitution charged against the Tiger Cats. So the Bomber march continues with a little help from a penalty. They're now inside the 25. looked to be open.
It's a good read by Chris Vargas. Justin Ring was involved with covering there, and Vargas did a good job of finding. Just didn't make a good throw.
171 yards in week 3 in a Bomber win over the Tiger Cats. Chris Vargas.
The Hamilton defense got away with one there, because you're right, David. Justin Ring did not adjust to the fullback and got away with one.
2nd and 10. Vargas time. What a great catch. Milt Stegall. Tight coverage. Stegall got there and held on to the ball.
Well, there's Milt Stegall. This is the guy we talked about that needs to be the go-to guy for Vargas, and he zoomed in on him right away, and it looked like Rob Hitchcock was reading his eyes, Glenn.
Well, Rob Hitchcock times it pretty good, and then he tries to play the ball at the last second. Really doesn't get the full shoulder in there, but credit to Milt Stegall, because he knew he was going to get hit and still hung on to the football.
2nd catch for Stegall, 16 yards. Winnipeg inside the 10. 1st and goal to go from there. Here's Williams. Oh! And he's cut down at the 5. Great tackle by the safety, Rob Hitchcock.
Rob Hitchcock is becoming one of the hardest hitting free safeties in the league, and he was probably mad at himself for not lowering the boom on Milt Stegall on the previous play, and came up from his safety position and did a pretty nice job hitting Ron Williams low. You're going to see number 45 at the top left of your screen shoot in there. He disappears. Now watch him come up. Cut down Ron Williams right there.
Gain is 4. Bombers at the Ticat 3. 2 cracks at it from there. Vargas. That was tipped. Montford, 53, I think.
Well, the home crowd here wants Coach Reinbold to go for it, but in this situation, you go ahead and get the points. Vargas straight back, 3-step drop, not a lot away from the line of scrimmage, and Joe Bonford up high to tip that one away. It's tough to get that 3-stepper off on the goal line.
Yeah, and the defensive ends are also taught that, listen, you get 3-step drop from a quarterback, you're not going to get him, you're not going to sack him, so get your hands up, try and knock that football down, and Joe Mumford did a perfect job of it.
Dave, would you be looking to go for it here if you're on the field talking to your coach?
I think if I was on the 1-yard line, I would, but I think that's a good idea. Get the points on the board.
Westwood has the Bombers on board. It's 3-0 on Friday Night Football. Week 3 at Iverwin in Hamilton. Bombers 33, Hamilton 18. Winnipeg had a couple of breaks. Turnovers a big part of the ball game.
Yeah, that game was close late. Mike Colley was picked off late in the ball game, but Coach Southern's got a heck of a defense, Glenn. They just came in and stuffed an opportunity for Winnipeg to stuff it in the end zone.
And he designs the defense, and he's under the hot seat a little bit, but I don't know why. If the Hamilton Ticats get rid of Coach Southern, they lose 3 coaches. Their head coach, their defensive coordinator, and their defensive back coach.
Interesting
Big loss.
Ticats first down, 35. They trail by a field goal. Open far side, Amerson grabbed quickly and wrapped up by Darnell Smalls. 2 is the gain.
Yeah, Archie Amerson last week had 100 yards rushing against a real good Toronto defense that's number 1 in 12 of the defensive categories this season. He does a good job coming out of the backfield and catching the football here, and Winnipeg rallies to the football and keeps the game to a minimal.
Well, you know, he's a guy that was at Northern Arizona in one season, rushed for over 2,000 yards, so you know he can get it done.
This is 2nd and 8. Looking deep for Winfield. Jump ball. Earl's got it. Mike Colley to Earl Winfield, and the Earl is back.
Glenn, how did you know that a jump ball, Earl Winfield, it looks like it's going to come back because of a penalty, but how did you know if it was a jump ball, Earl Winfield
Hamilton 61.
would make the play?
You know what? I just had an ugly flashback of 11 years of nightmares watching number 1 jump up over me. He's going to take off down the sideline. Right over here is where the penalty is going to occur. That brings the play back, but I tell you what, You're going to see number 1. I just had an ugly flashback of that happening.
There were 3 defenders there,
He makes a living out of doing that.
Second and 18. Collie under the cover, and he missed.
Had a screen set up to the short side to Bert Thornton, and Collie just makes a poor throw. And he's got to throw the ball to the receiver. He can't expect the receiver to adjust to it on a screen pass. Got to be more accurate at the screen.
Now, you know, when you talked to Mike Collie before the game, David, I was interested to hear that he was saying, I'm really looking for Earl Winfield. Is there a danger to doing that?
Very much so, Glenn. He gets so glued into trying to get the ball to Earl Winfield, he's going to miss opportunities down the field, begin to force the football.
Paul Osbaldiston to Dexter Dawson. Ozzie across the 15 to get it away. Bit of a charge. They blocked one on Osbaldiston in game 1 of the season. Here's Dexter Dawson, and markers everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 penalties, or at least penalty flags down. 56-yard punt. Now there's only 7 officials out there, so 2 guys still have theirs.
Did they all see the same penalty, or did they all see 5 different penalties?
I think a couple are about the same call.
Well,
there's one back in the Tiger Cat backfield.
It's going to take him a while just to gather the flags up, not to sort out the penalty.
Osbaldiston had a great quote this week about his head coach. I've watched him come into this organization and turn it from a locker room full of the biggest jerks I've ever seen in my life to the best group of guys I've ever played with on and off the field. Paul Osbaldiston on Coach Don Southern.
You know, and I think that holds a lot of stock, because there's a guy that's in the locker room and has seen the transformation of this ball club. I don't think there could be any more stock put in a quarterback than what Ozzie did right there.
Holding, Winnipeg number 45. That penalty is declined.
That's Smalls.
Illegal block, Winnipeg number 9.
Turn O'Bannon on the illegal block, playing his first game as a Bomber.
See number 9 right in the middle of the back. Lee Knight. Good call by the official. Turn O'Bannon. It's his first game for the Bombers and wants to make something happen. But
now that was the call everyone saw, number 9 O'Bannon, because that's where the 4 flags.
Yeah.
40 wide.
Bombers back at the 19. First down, 2 receivers near side. That's where Vargas looks. And he missed Ted Alford with a little heat there.
Well, Chris wanted to throw the short side screen to his outside receiver, Alford, but the offensive line are turning their people loose way too soon.
Yeah, you see a pretty good pass rush. And you're right, Dave. They got to count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, then release them. That was pretty much a fast break on Chris Vargas.
At least get a hand on the guy. He didn't even touch him.
That was the old lookout block. You miss the guy, turn around and yell at the quarterback, look out! Here he comes.
2nd and 10. Vargas shotgun to his right and looks back into the middle. Almost picked off. Tiggle had his mitts on it. I take it Williams was the intended receiver.
Now Chris is losing a little bit of his patience here, because he had a shot to Stiegel on the corner route, and he turns and throws it back inside to traffic. The play's designed to go outside right, but he loses his patience and decides to come back in, and nothing but danger back in there.
Well, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white shirts and 2 blue. I don't like the odds if I'm Chris Vargas.
Why would you throw it in there?
Kelvin Tiggle knocked that one down in self-defense.
Will Height, the lone man back for the Tiger Cats. Near his 50. Hamilton really looking for something to happen on special teams, and it's still not happening. No big returns, but the Ticats will have good field position as we return to Friday Night Football in a moment. No doubt the Blue Bomber head coach, Jeff Reinbold, has turned Winnipeg on its ear. There was an emotional time July 11th after he won his first game.
It was fun. It was fun for me, but more than that, it was fun for all those players. See, when you do the things that we've done with free agency and the trades and all those other things, and you're kind of an unknown quantity as a coach and as a head coach, certainly, you want those guys to have success so that they can be assured, I think emotionally, if anything else, that they've made the right decision. And Reggie Carthon and Brandon Hamilton and Chris Perez and all those guys are, again, good guys. I'm probably too emotional, you know, as a human being, and I get maybe too close to my players, or, you know, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and but that's who I am, and that's the way I'll always be, and I'm not going to change it just because I'm the head coach.
Mike Colley on the run. Andrew Grigg couldn't hang on, but it may not matter. There's a marker down back in the Tiger Cat backfield.
Well, Coach Reinbold is the kind of coach that I think any player would probably like to play for, because you can tell that he's in it with you. He's not one of these kind of guys. 54. He's not one of these kind of guys who's going to lay back, Glenn. He's the kind of guy that, you know, he's rolling his sleeves up and getting right in it with you.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you feel like you're in the battle with them, and it's all for one. And I'll tell you one other thing about Jeff Reinbold. He just take a look at this penalty. Blaine Schmidt, 54, gets a little bit of a holding call right here on Greg Battle on the blitz. But let's go back to that Jeff Reinbold thought. When it gets down to X's and O's, Jeff Reinbold's the best in the business.
You had an interesting time at training camp with the Blue Bombers, helping out.
Spend a little week helping out Andrew Henry, their safety. I hope he has a good game tonight.
A little rock music blaring at the practice. Colley first and long after the holding call. Throwing on the run, sideline. Winfield, and they call it a catch.
Well, Mike's a little late getting to Earl Winfield. Colley's in trouble right off the start on this thing, and Earl Winfield does a good job of recognizing it. He sees us looking. Watch Earl, crafty. Okay, now my quarterback's in trouble. I got to come back and help him out here a little bit. Keep working the sideline. I'll tell you what, he's a fun guy to have on the field.
Mike Colley's a pretty good athlete. Dwayne Knight is chasing him down, and on the full run, throws a nice pass to Earl Winfield and then takes a hit for it. He's shown some things the last couple of weeks. He might be able to play in this league for a while, David.
Winfield got 14. This is 2nd and 6. Colley had a little problem with the snap. He's got Winfield again, and that'll be a first down. This is kind of fun.
You know, when you have a guy like Earl Winfield come back into your lineup, you got to think that emotionally lifts the whole team. You got a veteran in the locker room, and a guy who knows how to win, knows how to get it done, and it's something that you can rally around as a team.
And Earl knew that he could only help the team a little bit. He would come in and spell, get in, make a few plays, get out. He realized that he was just one guy, but he hoped that he could add a little bit of enthusiasm to the ball club.
On first down, Archie Amerson. 5 yards for Amerson. Winfield leads all Ticat receivers in touchdowns scored in the Canadian Football League. You know, a few on kick returns as well.
Yeah, sorry, Jay. You know, when he had his best year was only a couple of years ago, back in 1995, when he had close to 1,500 yards receiving and 13 touchdowns. I mean, that happened to be the only game he played 18 games, too. Or the only year, excuse me.
85 career touchdowns for Earl Winfield. 2nd and 5 for the Tiger Cats. A little high. Amerson, the intended target. Dwayne Knight back in coverage for Winnipeg.
Well, it's bump and run coverage across the board, and Dwayne Knight makes a nice play on Archie Amerson on a ball that was thrown a little behind Amerson. This is the mode of this defense. Come up and they're going to challenge you. You see the Dwayne Knight play, the tip underneath, but if I get bump and run coverage across the board, number 1 is going to get the football if I'm the quarterback.
Yeah, you think you might be looking to Earl a little bit more throughout this game. I'm sure he will.
2:43 to go in the opening quarter. Andrew Grigg will hold. Osbaldiston with a chance to tie. This one wide. Dawson has time to get out of the end zone. Room to the near side. Makes the good call. Osbaldiston is trying to set him up. And he actually slowed him down a bit for Morreale to catch him from behind. But a great return and a wide field goal by Dexter Dawson. Ozzie played it well.
The great thing about this, when you're returning a missed field goal, is that you know the field goal team is made up of at least 5 offensive linemen who cannot cover kicks very well. They have trouble running, so you really only need 1 or 2 Paulus Bolson, who looked like he just tried to get out of the way.
Well, he at least got over to run a little interference. From the 44, Bombers 1st and 10. Ronald Williams trying to get outside. Montford had him by the right foot. Dexter Dawson from Montreal, really a return specialist, but he's done a few things in his career. Well, in Winnipeg, he's been a receiver, and he's been a defensive back as well.
Absolutely. I mean, last week in BC, he lined up at middle linebacker for a couple of plays. When they had
I missed that.
Yeah. It's a utility guy for them.
Gain is 3, 2nd and 7. Vargas walked out of the way. Philbrick in the middle of things, number 99. Melvin Aldridge also there.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I didn't see necessarily a real strong pass rush move, just great bull rushing. Sort of collapsed the pocket on Vargas there.
Give the sack to Philbrick. Eastern All-Star, that's his first of the year. Bob Cameron. Across the 50 to get a 3rd down kick away. Steinauer to return, but there's a marker down back at the line. Well covered by Bombers special teams. That's Wade Miller, who's always involved on special team tackles, limiting the gain to 4 on the return.
Well, penalty marker down on the play, and I think this has been the most anemic part of the Hamilton attack, has been their lack of return.
Illegal procedure. Winnipeg 14.
They've got 2 of the great returners in this league, and Kenny Wilhite. Orlando Steinauer's back there now, but they got Aaron Ruffin on the sideline, and they have not been able to generate any room for these guys. I talked to Kenny Wilhite before the game, and Kenny is visibly and verbally was upset on the field that they hadn't put in more returns for these 2 guys.
Yeah, it makes it tough when you got to make 4 or 5 guys miss. You think back to last year, Kenny Wilhite had a couple of touchdowns on returns and well over 1,000 yards in kickoff returns. So it is surprising that he hasn't had more success returning the football.
This one not as good for Cameron. There'll be no return, but not much yardage. And Cameron, who's kicked about 59 miles as the Blue Bomber punter through 18 seasons, not pleased with that particular effort. Just 24 yards.
105,000 yards he's kicked. Phenomenal. 17 years in this league, and he's spent them all right here in Winnipeg. One of the favorite sons of this area.
Bob Cameron actually owns about 5 or 6 homes. He renovates them himself, and he says on his way to practice, he'll stop by a house with a hammer and nails and just do some repair work.
Oh, he'll show up at practice and the carpenter does.
Oh, yeah.
First down, Tiger Cats. Little swing pass. Rashonde Smith. And Colley really hasn't been able to get the passing game rolling. He's made some completions, but not for much yardage.
Well, they're trying little gadgets here and there. They're trying to throw the screens. This guy knows how to throw touchdown passes. He threw 42 touchdowns at James Madison in just 34 ball games, so he understands how to get it in the end zone. But threw his first touchdown pass last week against Toronto. Played pretty well when he had a chance to get in there and do some of the things that he's capable of doing. He can really run with the football, which is a nice addition to the offense.
A loss of 1. 2nd and 11. Amerson gets the call. And it'll be kick time for the Ticats.
Let's go. Come on now.
About 3 yards for Amerson on the final play of the opening quarter.
Colin Scrivener's off to a pretty good start to this football game. He's made a couple of tackles in the backfield, and he flows over and puts a pretty good hit on Amerson on that play.
That's an interesting call there. That's obviously a call he wants Coach Southern or Coach Blackwelder, who's calling the plays, wants to minimize the mistakes here and doesn't want to turn the football over in their end of the field in a 2nd and long situation. Put the young quarterback in a bad situation.
Don Southern and the Tiger Cats down by 3 after quarter 1 at Winnipeg Stadium.
CFL Live at the Quarter is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Hi, and welcome back to our Friday night control center. Rod Smith along with Obi, Les, and Marty, 2 young quarterbacks. And so defense is dominating early on in this football game at Winnipeg Stadium. One of the great things, Obi, about Chris Vargas, doesn't make mistakes, but Hamilton's defense has been good at least trying to force him into some.
I think they've done an excellent job in that first quarter. They lost a good football player with an injury, Mike Campbell, but they moved Gonzalo Floyd inside, and they've put Willie Whitehead out at the end. And you're going to see in a couple of plays here where their front four has caused Vargas to make some mistakes. And Chris Vargas going into the game, Winnipeg hadn't given up the ball that much. They were 2nd in the league in the plus-minus. Right here you'll see Whitehead come off the edge, push the tackle right into the quarterback and cause an interception. That was definitely a pressure interception. It was a defensive lineman making the quarterback make a bad throw.
And then Willie Whitehead also on this play comes up on the inside because they send Justin Ring on the outside of him to take up the tackle, and he gets pressure on this one. And then later on, Mike Philbrick gets a sack on him. This defense is coming on and is playing really good football so far.
I think that combination of Gonzalo Floyd inside with Philbrick and Whitehead off the edge is giving him a little penetration, and they're giving him some problems.
You guys are talking about the Hamilton's defense. It's the Winnipeg defense that hasn't allowed a point yet. And what's interesting is that their defensive coordinator missed all week of practice because he's been attending, he's been at home with his son who's having some surgery done. So as home is in the States, so Reinbold is doing double duty. He's the defensive coordinator for this game as well as the head coach. It's also interesting that the Winnipeg defense, 2 key members of that defense, Hamilton and Peoples, got into a fight after last week's game, and Hamilton was knocked cold and he lost a couple of teeth.
Well, those are other stories to talk about. We got a football game going on right now. It's 3-0 Winnipeg on top. Let's head back out to Winnipeg Stadium, guys.
Game going here. You guys are missing it. Osbaldiston, a 47-yard punt, played perfectly out of bounds, no return.
I hope they saw that. Sitting there drinking beer and having hot dogs. We've got a ball game here in Winnipeg.
Vargas and the Bombers. 1st and 10. Around the 32. Looks to his left, going deep. Well defended. No flags. Great defense.
Well, Kenny Wilhite is just he has so many instincts to close on the football, knows when to bait in. Kenny's beat here and gets back to football. It's not a badly thrown ball by Vargas. Kenny just understands how much room he can give a receiver. Stiegel runs a good route. Kenny gets back.
Defense is the real highlight of that play, isn't it? The play by Wilhite.
I agree with you totally, John. It was a good throw. Stiegel got behind him. But Wilhite, look at him, knows when to turn, look for the football, great instincts.
Absolutely. The adjustment was unbelievable by Wilhite on that play.
2nd and 10, Bombers. Vargas punts once. He took a big hit, and he had Stiegel open that time. He couldn't hang on. Big hit by Willie Whitehead on the Bomber quarterback.
Well, Willie makes this play for the defense because this time, Kenny doesn't use the instincts, and Stiegel wins. Watch Whitehead come inside and rush the throw. Right there, he just had to get rid of it a little too early. Down on the turf, boy, I've been there a few times.
That's got to hurt. I mean, that's the Rydell on the top of your helmet, right between the sternum.
You know, before the game, I wandered the field and found different body parts on the field and stuff that I left.
Hey, there's my ear.
What's the hardest landing in the CFL these days?
The hardest landing in this, you got me.
Worst turf, you know.
I'd say Iverwin.
Iverwin. Wilhite to return Cameron's punt. Nice job. One of his best out to the 50. 19 yards after a 42-yard punt. Vargas and Jones talk it over on Friday Night Football. Size these numbers for you. Just 4 first downs between 2 teams. and not much in rushing yardage for the #1 rusher in the Canadian Football League. Well, that's circled.
Yeah, I'll sharpen my pencil. But no, that's what I'm saying. Ron Williams had 3 carries for 13 yards in the first quarter. I mean, this is a guy who got 190 yards last week. Got to get him the ball.
Ticats trailing 3-0. Colley stands in, looking deep. No call on the coverage far side. Winfield was over there, so was Thornton.
This is an opportunity they're going to take to try to get the ball to Earl Winfield to the wide side of the field. Earl just runs down, and this is where he's at his best. He lulls the DB to sleep. Oh, it was just a little overthrown. Earl felt like he got messed with there a little bit.
And Brandon Hamilton did not get called on the pass interference because he looked back to the football. And although he may have had his arm on Earl Winfield, because his head went back and looked back, the official didn't call him.
You know, it won't be long before Earl's getting those calls, though.
Well, he's got to remind him, hey, guys, I'm back, and I'm 11-year veteran.
Remember me, #1.
Yeah.
Second down. Colley gets the charge from the backside. Escapes one. He won't get away a second time. Or will he? Still going. I thought he was nailed a couple of times. And then finally picked up. Reggie Carmichael. Well, I've not seen anything like this for a long time. He should have been nailed about 3 times, but then he likely shouldn't have thrown the football.
Oh, what a spectacular scramble. This is phenomenal. You can just sit and watch this. There's nothing you can say about this scramble. The mistake he makes is at the end of it. Instead of just throwing the football away, he tries to make something happen that's not there.
That's George Noga, #50.
Dwayne Knight has a shot. Junior Tongawai has a shot. Greg Battle gets there. Should have threw that one in row 3.
First interception given up by Colley in this one.
Super read by Joe Montford there, John. This was a swing pass to Williams, and Montford read completely.
They just go back to that interception from Mike Colley. You know, when you're a defensive back down the field and he scrambled this long, now you're just trying to find a guy and grab onto him. And that time Reggie Carthon found Griggs and just tried to get himself in position. It turns out he was the target.
Vargas has not been hot. He's missed his last 7 passes. Make it 8. Why is he smiling?
I can't answer that, John. I would have my helmet would have been about 15 pieces right now if I'd made that throw. That's a bad throw, and he's really struggling right now.
You know what surprises me, though, guys, is that this is a spread offense look from Chris Vargas, when last week he had Ron Williams behind him. He used play action successfully, and he used the running game successfully. On that last play, Ron Williams was lined up in the slot back position, so Joe Paopao has thrown in some wrinkles for this Hamilton defense, but what worked for them last week was the running game.
It's not working tonight. Cameron, 25-yarder last time, and there'll be no Ticat return once more. Cameron bounces it out. The Bombers hang on to a 3-0 lead. It's Friday Night Football, live from Winnipeg.
You got McDougal warming up.
Fleming, the star of the show for the Eskimos at Olympic Stadium last night.
Yeah, it was a special night all the way across the board, Glenn.
Yeah, and then in BC, where Toronto beat the Lions on a couple of special teams plays late in the second half. 2 fumbles off kickoffs cost the Lions 14 quick points.
Ticats get away without giving up points after the interception. Colley beginning near his 15. And it's been tough running for both teams. That was Marcus Thomas, 33, slightly shaken up, warming up on the sidelines. Kevin McDougal.
Now, you never know whether that's wishful thinking or whether he's going to actually get in the ball game. I've seen many a backup quarterback loosen up when the veteran that's in the, or the guy that's in the ball game is struggling. It looks like Joe Paopao right there is talking to Vargas, so I would guess that he's going back in the ball game.
Vargas is 0 for his last 8, though, guys. 2nd and 5. procedure is the indication. So when the backup warmed up behind you, what did you do? Just ignore him?
I went over and punched him in the mouth.
Time count violation. Hamilton 14.
And after you do that one time, he won't warm up again until they ask him.
Or he gets down in the tunnel or underneath the stands or something.
If you're struggling at quarterback, you got enough problems than worrying about your guy looking over and seeing the other guy warming up. That's for sure.
5 penalties against the Ticats have cost 40 yards. Second in a bunch. Winfield makes the catch. And he's close to the first down, depending on where they spot the ball. But Earl's been the man for the Ticats.
Well, this is what Earl Winfield's experience will give to you. Here is Andrew Henry, the free safety. He's going to come on the safety blitz. You know that Earl Winfield knows that's happening and can pick it up, and so does Mike Collin, finds him. Andrew Henry doesn't have a chance to get in there.
And another thing Earl did there, once he caught the football, he realized he was short of the first down and went immediately. Watch him go north and south right there to try to get the first down. And he did.
Just enough. KG veteran Earl Winfield has been the receiving story for the Ticats thus far in this one. I'm sure Cawley's eyes lit up when he saw Winfield walk into the dressing room a couple of days ago, even though he likely didn't even know who he was.
I asked him on the field, I said, hey, before Earl Winfield got here, did you know who he was? And he said, well, I'd read about him in a book or two.
Well, the receiving corps has been depleted by injury and departure in Hamilton. Amerson. We've liked the way he's run the football over the last 3 games, closing in on 5 yards per carry as an average. He gets 4 there.
Now, Archie Amerson, we talked about this last time we had an Hamilton game on, but he was the Division I AA equivalent of the Heisman Trophy winner. So he knows how to tote the football. What I've been impressed with him in the games that we've seen of Archie Amerson is his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. Very good receiver.
3 receivers to the near side. On 2nd down and 5 behind Winfield. Carthon almost had his 2nd. And is Cawley looking too much to number 1?
I'm not sure he was throwing that ball to Earl Winfield there. But Earl Winfield was certainly in the area, and whenever he is, you'd like to think it was thrown in his direction. But I think he was trying to go inside to Alford right there. I'm sorry, to Smith. Ashonde Smith was coming inside, and I think that's where he wanted to throw the football, and Earl may have made a nice defensive play to keep that from being picked off.
Number 1 was definitely the closest white jersey.
Well, Reggie Carthon was so surprised that it hit him in the stomach, he didn't catch it. That'd have been his 2nd today.
Osbaldiston keeps it low and nails it for Dexter Dawson. Great return earlier. Ticats have it well covered. Jeff Reinbold said he wasn't expecting this. I don't believe it for a second.
Now, of course, in Hamilton for Jeff Reinbold's first win as a head coach. But he sure loved to win one in front of his home crowd.
I was there with him that night, and he really enjoyed that. That was something that meant a tremendous amount to him, to have his teammate or team respond to him. And now he's gone to his backup. Here's Kevin McDougal.
They touted McDougal as the number 1 quarterback in Winnipeg during the offseason. Vargas came in and won the job. McDougal will get a chance here. But Ronald Williams can't find any more running room with McDougal at the controls. Vargas gets the hook. This guy's in.
You know, really, Willie Whitehead has come in here with a purpose. He's already pressured Vargas several times, and here he makes a stop in the backfield on the top running back in the league this year so far.
It really was a great play. I mean, he's replacing Mike Campbell, and Willie Whitehead just closed down when he saw the pulling guard and tackle and made the play from the backside.
2nd big play by Whitehead. Campbell is out with bad ribs. 2nd down, a little better than 10. Nice catch. Should be a first down. Stiegel hangs on. And we'll see where they spot it, but he's right along that 45-yard line.
It's a good throw for McDougal to come off of the bench and complete his first ball. First down. It was a 2nd and long situation, which is the worst for a quarterback. Looks off. That's a veteran quarterback. He hasn't played a lot, but showed that he can look off. Watch him look to the left. Now comes back right, sticks it inside for the first down.
And in coverage, when you get looked off like that, you freeze. Your feet freeze, and that gives you that opportunity to get the opening.
Bombers first down on the 45. That's a little more like it for Ronald Williams. Touch more than 5 yards picked up.
Well, there's some hitting going on, isn't there? There is some hitting going on, and Rob Hitchcock from the free safety position has been in on a couple of these running plays, and usually they're not close enough, the safety, to get in here, but watch him come in. 42 is in there, and there's Brett McNeil going over the top, over the pile.
It was a 5-yard gain. Kevin McDougal. Markers are down. McDougal will take out. Could be a free play. Forced into the Bomber bench. Likely has enough if the infraction is against Hamilton.
I think the official can take his choice between a couple here.
2 markers at least.
Yeah, you got procedure and holding both against Winnipeg, and this is going to wave off the first down.
Illegal procedure. Winnipeg number 9, decline. Holding. Winnipeg number 57, decline. Holding. Winnipeg number 60.
Wow.
Whoa. We got time to show them all.
Well, let's see. There's 60. There's 57. Let's take a look at these two guys. And I saw both takedowns. So I say there was a choice. There's one takedown. The hands in
was
there.
Singled out.
Dave Van Conen, then Brett McNeil at the top. He had to take down as well. So official had their choice there.
And Turhan Abandonen was also mentioned. 6:27 to play in the opening half. Still the Bombers by 3. McDougal facing 2nd and long, and is picked on. Grabbed by Steinauer. Orlando Steinauer has Hamilton's 2nd interception. It is not a pretty picture here tonight. Only 3 points on the scoreboard, but it is Friday Night Football. Interceptions for the Tiger Cats now, and the new quarterback has thrown the 2nd one to Orlando Steinauer. 3 on the season for the Tiger Cat defender. And it's back in Mike Cawley's hands.
Well, these two teams right now are playing like they're allergic to the end zone.
Hey, where's that official going?
Seems to be a bit of a problem in the end zone. I guess with the 20-second clock being obstructed down there by one of the instruments they're going to use for the halftime show.
I thought he was headed home.
So turn on the 20-second clock. And they'll move it.
Got to move the balloon. A lot of hot air in there. More hot air down there than up here.
I hardly believe that.
Orlando Steinauer, I think, baited Kevin McDougal on this play. This is the interception. He was just waiting on the deep outside third for McDougal to throw that football, and comes up with his 3rd.
Cawley to Thornton. Big Ticat first down inside the 30.
Well, Bert Thornton has been moved from the outside to the inside in a slot area, and this is a great big receiver. He's 6'2", great target, runs a real good route to get into the seam, and then he can run with it after he catches it. But they were really excited about getting this guy in the slot. Greg Battle, who's played many games in this stadium, couldn't quite get to that one.
29 yards sets the Ticats up at the Bomber 29, and Amerson goes to work. Down to the 20. Nice run. His best of the ball game. He has 9.
I love the cut. I mean, this play looks to me like it's supposed to go to the outside, and Archie Amerson sees that there's nothing out there and closes in a hurry. Shante People shuts it down to the play side, but the cut right there to cut back. He's got great feet.
Amerson is winning the battle of the running backs tonight. Ron Lancaster used to say, give it to your best back on 2nd and 1.
Well, there he was. Ron Lancaster told me that in his huddle there was this little deal that they used to have. He used to flip a coin. If it was heads, George Reed called the play. If it was tails, it was Hugh Campbell. And if it landed on edge, he got the call. We had a good time talking football with Lancaster and the Eskimos in Montreal for a couple of days. Interesting ball game last night, to say the least. Here's Colley. Nowhere to throw and nowhere to go.
Well, Mike Colley's going to get zero coverage here, Glenn, and this is a situation where put the ball up to a guy that can go get it, and number 1 is the guy when you get down in the scoring zone.
You say zero, David, you're talking about no safety help in the middle, and you're right. Halfbacks and corners were on their own in man-to-man, and now it's just who's going to win the battle. Colley didn't give his receiver a chance.
Got back over the line of scrimmage, though. Now Colley wrapped up again. That will be a sack.
And that's Jordan Noga. And that sack is Mike Colley's sack because Peter Shorts had perfect protection and Colley ran in to the defender. George Noga gets the sack, but it's Mike Colley. Watch Peter Shorts. Great technique. Right in front of him. Colley runs right into it. There's no reason to escape the pocket. This happens with a young quarterback.
Bomber defense turns up the heat.
Well, what I like about it is on the play, they dropped to a zone defense. Last week against BC, they played man-to-man no matter what. Jeff Reinbold's calling the defenses tonight. Mike Broach is out of town. They dropped the zone there and confused the quarterback.
Osbaldiston missed his first. He's got his second. It's tied. 3-3. 3:08 to go in the opening half. And it has not been a classic struggle of offense against offense.
Now, you're going to drive the ball deep now a little bit to make sure you're going to have to hold on your blocks a long time. We don't want any penalties. Let's bring the ball to the field. Let's get it done.
What Reinbold's talking about there is he knows Osbaldiston likes to drive the ball deep. So he's talking about his cover people. He's going to have to hang on to the blocks just a little bit longer and give Dexter Dawson that crease that he needs.
He runs the special teams with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Every single one of them, and takes pride in it.
That's really where he got his foundation in the Canadian game, isn't it? Running special teams.
Absolutely. He knows every facet of the special teams. He knows what every guy on the field has to do, their responsibilities, and make sure it gets done.
Double D, Dexter Dawson has had a pretty nice night on returns. Back near his 10-yard line, ready to go again. It's 3-3 on Friday Night Football in Winnipeg, and things have livened up just a little bit since the Tiger Cats got this thing back to even. There's a linebacker back in return coverage over there. Darnell Small. I'm getting a little confused by this game. We watched Tommy Henry play linebacker last night at about 179 pounds. You got this guy, Darnell Small, back on kick returns.
Well, he's a classic tweener, as Glenn likes to refer to him. He's actually a defensive back that's bulked up a little bit and playing linebacker, and he's returned some kicks in his career, college, and they like to get him back there and try to run it, but he really struggled fielding now and probably should have let it go out of bounds.
Well, I'm just used to seeing the quick, skinny guys back there.
Well, you know, Paul Osbaldiston took a choice. Let's see, I got Darnell Small at 240. Or I got Dexter Dawson, who weighs in at 185.
And he's already taken one back a ways on me.
I'm kicking it to the bigger guy.
60-yard kickoff. The Bombers are pinned deep with 3 minutes to go till halftime. It's dead even on TSN Friday Night Football. fans in Winnipeg out for Friday night football at the old stadium. Not much scoring so far, just a field goal each way. You were blowing smoke for the Bomber offensive line in the opening. How are they doing?
Well, they're struggling a little bit. They haven't been able to get anything going. I credit that defense for that.
On first down, there's nowhere to go. Kevin McDougall is sacked on the goal line.
As Joe Mumford makes the play, and whenever you have a naked bootleg on, it's on the quarterback to make a good fake.
He's going to come from across this side of your screen right over here. And he does not buy the play action fake, and Kevin McDougall has no shot.
And that's exactly the way the rush-in should play the bootleg to the wide side of the field. Montford textbook play there.
I was asking about the offensive line.
That's not the offensive line there, though, Johnny.
Point.
That was a naked
good
bootleg
defensive play.
And Joe Montford stepped up.
2:32 till halftime. Bombers in the shadow of their goalposts. Ronald Williams can't turn and pick that up. There wasn't really much there anyway if he'd made the catch.
Well, shadow of the goalpost is exactly right, because that's the reason Kevin McDougall didn't complete that ball. He was trying to throw it over the crossbar and not miss and miss the upright, and threw it over Williams' head.
Little momentum shift here, Suits.
Well, not only in field position, but you got to think if you're on the Hamilton sideline, Joe Papau's a little worried about this defense over there in Hamilton, playing pretty good no matter what quarterback's throwing the football.
Well, the Ticats will have lots of time and great field position if one of the returners catches the ball and drops where he's standing right now. Cameron, about 15 yards deep in his end zone. Fake the throw. Now there's a penalty down. Cameron steps out of the end zone, conceding a couple, but there are markers, 2 of them to be exact, in the Blue Bomber end zone.
Now, did the Canadian rifle have an idea that he might want to throw that one?
Well, he's facing 3rd down at about 25.
You know what? He saw Sean Fleming last night, and he was going to try to load one up.
Holding, Winnipeg 37. Holding, Winnipeg number 8. Both penalties declined.
Dave Pitcher and Dwayne Knight are holding. Knight to the right of your screen, but Jeff Reinbold likely told that front line, hold and take up as much time as you can. If we get called on a penalty and they take it, if they get called on a penalty and take it, it doesn't matter. We'll just do it all over again.
They missed one there.
You get those hands inside the arms and aren't reaching out around a guy, they won't call that hold as long as you keep the hands inside the arms.
Position, right? We'll get the ball back. Let's go. We're going to go away from Ruffin, huh? Make a play. 1, 2, 3. Make a play. Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
And 2 to the Ticat total. The Bombers get set to kick it away. 5 at the half. On Friday Night Football, the boys will be all wound up about this one. And we'll look ahead to Calgary, Saskatchewan. Taylor Field tomorrow. Don Southern has 12. He's ready to go.
I think that was a good decision by Coach Reinbold to take the 2 there based on the way the 2 offenses are playing, or maybe based on the way the 2 defenses are playing. A good gamble, thinking that he'd be able to win the battle here in field position.
Well, Westwood will kick, but the field position, had they allowed Cameron to kick, could have cost them more than 2 points. They're yelling for Smith to let it roll out of bounds and not make a play.
I found it interesting that Jeff Reinbold gave Troy Westwood instructions to kick it away from Aaron Ruffin. Obviously, the game plan is to keep it away from 32. That was a little too far away, though.
Well, you heard on the play all the communication that was going on. They knew it was going out of bounds, and a lot of times the receiver can't tell. So a lot of good communication on the field from the special teams unit there.
Ruffin put on about 10 pounds in the offseason, and like this guy's stud. You know how many times he bench pressed 225 pounds this year? 26.
What did you used to do in your big years?
Oh, here we go. Well, let's see. When it was my first year out of the league, it was 27. My second year out of the league, I bumped it up to 30. On my third year out of the league now, I'm going to push it up to 33.
To the other side this time for a return by Rutland. Looks for the outside. Still going. Nice little return out near the 50-yard line. 2:06 to halftime, and Mike Colley has a chance to put a couple more on the board for the Tiger Cats.
Well, Mike's been workmanlike tonight. I don't think he's made a lot of big throws. In fact, he was only averaging. Dave Moyer, our statistician up here, said that he was averaging only 5.8 yards a complete or attempt, and that's just not going to get it done. You got to get the ball down the field.
He's had big eyes for Earl Winfield in the first half. Beginning just shy of the 50. Shovel ahead for Amerson. I thought there was some movement there, but no marker, which is maybe good news. Do you like this pass?
Well, I've used this play before. This is something that Doug Flutie is really good at. Flipping it to Mike Pinball Clemens. This one's broken up. It looked like, to me, Glenn, it looked like that Winnipeg had a run blitz on. Battle blitz right into the play.
Absolutely. A cancellation. They're canceling the gaps, take away all the run lanes.
Loss of 1, second and 11. Colley missed the target that time.
They were coming again. Great battle came up the middle, and Shannon Garrett only had one good hand to reach out and try and knock that ball down.
The target was Ashande Smith, and Colley heads to the bench. 1:41 till halftime.
Now, the reason this play is so close is I think the outside receivers lined up too close to the formation. Colley really had to try to stick it in there, and he's upset he didn't get it in there. But I think that if he gets some better spacing from his receivers, spread the defense a bit, he's going to have a little bit better throwing lanes. Go ahead.
Ticats on top by 2. Dexter Dawson deep for Winnipeg. Osbaldiston just got it away. He draws a flag. Rufflinger contacting the kicker. Dawson takes off. Great block to spring Dawson free. But this one may not matter. Lee Knight will not catch him. It's up to Ozzie. He takes it all the way. But it's a long run that may not count for a darn thing. 52-yard punt, 100-yard return for the Knicks. But Ozzie was shaken up twice on the play. Once as he got the punt away, and then trying to run interference.
Well, it's no question it's coming back.
Oh,
Kesley Perrin robbed the kicker.
Well, we got Lee Knight down on the ground, and I think that's more he's just out of breath than anything else. Lee was covering the punt on the other side of the field and probably ran about 140 yards on this play to try to make the play, and dove at the end to try to keep Dexter out of the end zone, but it's all coming back.
That's not a fair road race. Lee Knight against Dexter Dawson, is it?
Kesley Perrin is the youngster cracking the Bombers lineup this season. Of course, he had the return against Hamilton on a block for a touchdown, and the rule of thumb is when you lay out, you have to touch the football if you're going to hit the kicker. Kesley Perrin didn't. No question, it's a penalty. And Dean Noel for Hamilton wishes that everybody would tell him because he got hammered.
What a great block
by Leonard Jean-Pierre on the play. Guys, listen. He's over there going, wait a minute now. If there's a roughing the kicker penalty, could you guys let me know and I'll just get out of the way?
Lee Knight got to Dexter Dawson and actually pushed him into the end zone.
Watch Lee stay after it. This is an old wily vet trying to make a play. Just couldn't quite get to him, and he's just gassed at the end of the play and lays down and takes a breath. You know, Lee probably is as tired at home as he is on the field because they had twin boys in the offseason, so he's chasing some youngsters around.
Wow. There's his career numbers, and we should also maybe add there only had 3 hours sleep in the last 4 days. Twins.
He's got twin boys and a daughter. The boys, Sam and Connor, and Katie, the daughter, back home in Hamilton watching Daddy, and Daddy's okay, just a little gassed right now.
Yeah, do you think the twins are really paying attention to this? 2:14 on the clock. Chance to get some points on the board for the Tiger Cats here.
I think Bert Thornton might have been offside. Legal procedure on the play.
Or maybe a little holding, Tiger Cats. That's
Holding.
only water or
Hamilton 64.
Peter Shorts got nabbed on the holding call.
Did you play with him too?
Peter Shorts, ex-teammate of mine.
I don't know if you've been keeping count, Suits, but he's been everywhere and he's played with absolutely everyone.
Harry Van Hofwagen down on the play, and when you're trying to chase the quarterback down, those offensive linemen a lot of times have some free shots at the legs, and Van Hofwagen looks like he's getting the hamstring stretched out there a little bit. He's filling in for some of the injuries they've got on defense.
Absolutely. Tommy Fagan went down, and so did Tyrone Rogers. So Harry Van Hofwagen steps in. Last year, just played 8 games. Didn't have a sack last year, and he's recorded 1 so far this season.
So they stretch out Harry Van Hofwagen, former J.P. Metres Trophy winner out of Carlton. And we'll check in tomorrow night. Taylor Field, Regina. Stampeders and the Rough Riders. The rematch. That'll be fun.
Well, I mentioned it last night, but I got to do it again because now there were 30,000 fans in Calgary for the first part of that doubleheader. Now I want to know if the Regina fans are going to rise to the challenge and show up.
See if you can
little challenge there for
get 30,000 into Taylor Field.
Well, we had 33 for a game against Sacramento back in '93, I want to say.
55 for a game against the Stampeders once, too. Colley has his man far side. They call it a catch.
Well, Archie Emerson slips out of the backfield, John, and just runs a little corner out. And this is a heck of a throw by Colley under heat. Greg Battle's doing a heck of a job coming after the quarterback, and here he blitzed through a crease.
He's been doing it all game. Not only to cancel the run, but when he sees his man blocking, he just takes off and hammers Colley.
Colley doing a good job. Steps up in the pocket, really nice, and finds Amerson on the sideline. Archie Emerson. We talked about how good a receiver is. He's just short of the first down.
1:08 till halftime. It's the Ticats on top, 5-3. Sounds like a hockey game, but really this is the CFL Live and Friday Night Football at Winnipeg Stadium.
And I think that's the first time Mike Colley has actually really let people make something happen for him. The offensive line blocked real well, stepped up in the pocket, and threw the ball under heat. Made a nice throw to Emerson.
2nd and inches. Colley himself. Another marker down. My gosh.
Well, were they drawn offside? Because Winnipeg definitely was offside. I'm just wondering if they were drawn. I don't think so.
It's been a tough season for Don Southern.
Offside. Winnipeg number 50.
Gets a break there with that call. This guy is just starting out on his long road to a frustrating career as a head coach.
When he sees his Dexter Dawson take one back for a touchdown and it's called back, it gets even more frustrating for him, I'm sure.
Live at the half, they're fired up. Back at Friday Night Football Control. We'll get you there in about 56 seconds or so. Colley on first down. Nice pass. That's Thornton wide open. Touchdown. 32 yards. Nice little move at the end for Thornton to find his way into the end zone from 3 yards away.
Super read by Mike Colley, and Bert Thornton catches the ball around the 7 and gets in. And Glenn, I'm not going to say anything about this attempt at a tackle about the 5-yard line. In defense, Garrett's wearing a cast on his hand.
Now Shannon Garrett has that cast on his left hand, and he passed up the hit there. And you know, I mean, it's one thing to tough it out and play hurt, but if you can't execute your assignment, and he had a great chance to hold Thornton to maybe to the 2-yard line and passed up the hit.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited. That was a touchdown.
got too many men on the field, it looks like, for Winnipeg. I'm going to be interested to see what Les has to say about that effort to make that tackle down on the goal line. I don't think he's...
Too many men. Winnipeg decline. Second touchdown reception of the season for Bert Thornton. Ticats open up a nice little lead.
2 plays in a row that Colley steps up in the pocket. He reads the zone. The corner falls back to the inside, and Bert Thornton standing all alone.
Yeah, Shannon Garrett went with the seam route. He got locked in there, and Colley gives him a little look there, but then goes right back to Thornton, and pretty excited about throwing that touchdown pass.
You know, I think that's one of the biggest things that Colley has to guard against is getting too excited when he's got people like Bert Thornton and Earl Winfield sitting there and some of the veterans on this team. And I know Anthony Calvillo comes over to him after every series and calms him down. That's his biggest thing he has to guard against. Gets too excited.
But Winfield has made quite a difference tonight, not only in the catches, but in the people he's drawn away. Thornton has not had big plays in the last little while, although he is the Ticats' #1 receiver. And look at the other receivers they're working with. Morreale and Ashande Smith inside, with Prince Wembley and Ted Long on the injured list. So they've had to make some adjustments to the starting group that they began with.
Well, I think he's had just an effect on the overall attitude of this ball club.
Dane Pitcher does it all. Kickoff return there for Pitcher. 7 plays to cover 61 yards in a minute 26. Pitcher is listed as a backup running back. We watched him last year as a nose tackle for the Alouettes, if you recall.
He didn't like that much. He didn't like playing up there on the line much.
From the 45, the Bombers with 43 seconds on the clock. Go to Williams. And the Ticats have stuffed him more than once tonight.
Now Steiner makes a nice tackle there. Whenever you got a running back the size of Williams, who's about 230 or 225, you got to go ahead and take the legs, and he did there.
Mike Morreale a little upset at the inactivity, and he thought he was open on this play and ready to go for the touchdown.
Every receiver in the league thinks they're wide open.
I think he was there, but Colley had eyes for Thornton.
Well, when you go back and look at the films, it's because Colley was looking that way is the reason he was open. And he'll look at the film and find that the only reason he was open is because the safety was flowing over to where the ball was being thrown.
He's tearing up over there. He was so open. So Colley did engineer a touchdown drive. And
illegal procedure.
The conversation we've been watching from up here with Anthony Calvillo.
Oh, Calvillo's just saying, yeah, just do that. Thornton on the corner and just throw it. That's the one there. Put a little asterisk beside that play.
Procedure against Winnipeg makes it 2nd and 7. 33 seconds on the scoreboard clock till halftime. Ticats on top, 12-3. McDougall bobbles it. He's lucky to get it back. Should have stayed down, shouldn't he? Willie Whitehead.
Yeah, he's having one heck of a game so far.
I'll tell you what, he brought his game with him this week. This guy's playing.
Well, he started the season. He played in the was on Montreal's practice roster, and then he was 3 weeks on the practice roster in Hamilton, and he just comes off the edge and does a nice job of getting in the backfield. He's spent the whole game in the Winnipeg backfield.
Whitehead had a start earlier this season, or at least got into game action, but he's into the game today for Mike Campbell, who's out with ribs.
And in that game, he had a sack, so he made a contribution in the one game he's had an opportunity to play in, and he's stepped up his game tonight. So this is a good guy to have on the football field.
Ticat defense has been quite a story. They've held Ronald Williams to 20 yards on 6 carries. Nice punt by Cameron. Ken Wilhite. Look to the outside. Has about 9 on the return. 43-yard punts. And 17 seconds till the half. Bombers Tiger on special teams is Wade Miller, number 54. They call him the Mole.
Romolo's working on him there.
Yeah, Romolo, that's a good job. That's a good job by Romolo. He just shadowed him and kept pestering him and got his eyes off the ball.
You really don't need to knock the guy out. Just stay in his way.
Colley fakes once. 12 seconds left. Gets it away. Home run toss for Thornton. Missed him by 7 yards. But Colley pays the price at the other end. Well, Battle again. He's been there before.
Yeah, Battle hit Colley just as he threw the ball, and I was looking down the field, so I didn't see while the play was happening whether or not it was late. I could hear it, though.
Well, I'll be the first guy to tell you that Battle knows how to seek out the quarterback and put a hurting on him, and that should be flagged. Use the top of his helmet as a weapon. Watch him duck the head.
An extra stride.
Yeah, watch him duck the head. No reason for that. Just run through him. And, you know, no reason. He's been around a long time. That's a poor job by Battle. I hate to see that. I'm still wearing a scar on the chin from Greg Battle last year when he was in Saskatchewan, but there was no reason for Greg to hit him that way, and that's just injury waiting to happen.
6 seconds to go till halftime. Penalty won't help out the Tiger Cats all that much unless Ozzie can make one from a long way away. 60 yards. Here's the spot points. Up, up, up. Down, down, down. Dawson has a chance with a return. Took a wide field goal back a long way earlier. But this time the Tiger Cats were waiting. Well, Don Southern has the lead at halftime. That hasn't happened to him in 1997. It's 12-3 Ticats as we send you back to CFL Friday Night Football Control.
Welcome back to our Friday Night Control Center. I'm Rod Smith along with Obi, Les, and Marty. Hey, it seems crazy on a half full of good defensive plays. We're going to highlight one of the very few poor ones, but David Archer wants to know what our defensive expert Les Brown thinks about the one play that led to the one touchdown right at the end of the half.
Well, I'm like David Archer and Glenn Suter on this one. You do not play this game if you're not fully healthy to play it and make the plays that you're supposed to make. This time, Bert Thornton catches a pass right out on the corner route. As he's going in to score, Shannon Garrett comes by, and the club hand that he has all wrapped up is on the backside, so it really wouldn't have interfered with this tackle at all if he had just went for the legs and pulled him out. But he just stopped, two-hand tapped him, and you get touchdown instead of the 3 points. If you make that tackle, then the defense has a chance to stop him and maybe only give up a field goal.
And that's the only time any team found the end zone in this game so far. Whenever you get one like this, low scoring, you could say, hey, the defense is great, or hey, the offense is terrible, maybe a bit of both. Is the glass half full or half empty? Whatever it is, Marty, we've been listening to you. You don't like the taste of it either way.
Well, Rod, there's a dearth of offense in the CFL this season. Offenses aren't in sync. There's very little offensive imagination being shown. Points are down by about 8 points, eight a game so far. I think most fans in Canada want to see scoring. Don't these guys tonight know this is Friday Night Football? They're supposed to do a little more in a full half and score on a safety, a couple field goals, and a last-second touchdown.
Marty,
I think you're insulting someone here.
You know what, Marty? Defenses have the hardest job because offensive players know where they're going. Defensive players have to react to get there.
I'm sure that's true, but I'm talking about fans want to see scoring.
So when you have a good defensive game, then a true fan should realize, hey, this is a good game.
Hey, true fans want to see a lack of scoring. They can watch soccer where it's 0-0. They'll get excited about that.
Marty, you see what everybody else sees. We got two quarterbacks playing out there that are not as good as Doug Flutie and somebody else that's a veteran quarterback in this league. And the way this game is going, and actually Hamilton's offense was touchdown was set up by play on special teams. And I think the way this game's going is that the defenses are just playing so much better than the offenses that I think special teams will decide the outcome of this game.
And what about Hamilton's defense?
They're playing well. That front four, Joe Moss is probably quite happy. You know, Joe's a longtime veteran coach, and he knows how important the pressure up front is. And Willie Whitehead's coming off that edge pretty good. That looks good for Hamilton.
I tell you what, if Hamilton's defense keeps playing like this and they get their starting quarterback healthy, these guys are looking pretty good with Winfield on the outside and Burt Thornton on the inside. They have 2 weapons in 2 different spots that can really hurt teams.
Well, that's the one flash story you were going to say. Wrap it up here.
All I want to say is that CFL has been selling offense for a very long time, and fans have become accustomed to offense for CFL football. If they want to see a defensive football, you can watch NFL.
Oh, hush.
Oh, boy. Defensive out in Winnipeg. It's getting a little defensive here in our control center. Well, it's a good situation for Don Southern heading to the half with the lead. And afterwards, our Greg Musselman spoke to Sudsy as he was heading to the locker room.
Well, it's started raining here at Winnipeg Stadium. Don, your defense did a good job, especially shutting down the running game. Ronald Williams just 20 yards, and your offense got it going late in the half.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good, solid defense, but our quarterback's very young and all, but I'll tell you what, he's a gutsy kid. We got some guys open. He'll spot them, but pretty good half, but we got to come out second half and play better.
And Earl Winfield looks like he hasn't lost too much.
No, he's a great receiver. He's one of the better receivers in this league we'll ever see. But he wants to play. His conditioning looks pretty good, so he'll go until he gets tired.
Okay, have a good second half. Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Hey, there's a cloud on the horizon. The rain's coming in. Hasn't been raining points so far. 15 of them. Friday Night Football returns after this. Yes, Tony Antunovic. He played for Obi. Was a center with the Argonauts that won the Grey Cup in 1983. Diagnosed with leukemia back in March. And we want everybody's support to this nationwide Canadian Red Cross unrelated bone marrow donor program, the campaign that kicked off with the Canadian Football League this week. You can make donations at any Bank of Montreal or games from July 24th to August the 2nd, and certainly a very worthwhile cause. Coming up next, tomorrow afternoon, still going to have to play in Winnipeg, of course, and Friday Night Football. Then Saturday afternoon, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders getting their rematch a week later against the Calgary Stampeders, who picked up their first win of the season, courtesy Saskatchewan 22-8 at McMahon Stadium, a game where Jeff Garcia, I'm sure, got some confidence going there. And the problem, I suppose, for Calgary, we talked about quarterbacking situations, Marty, but defensively, some key players have been going down.
That's right, Rod. Londra Johnson, Greg Knox, Al Jordan, and Ernie Brown are all going to be out. And Wally Buono's had a tough time filling their spots. I know he'd like to see the practice roster extended beyond 5 players. He's been complaining about that.
I know the biggest one that they're going to miss is AJ.
Yeah.
This guy fills holes like nobody in the league right now. I think he's taken over what Greg Battle used to be.
Well, you know what? Last week, I thought Vernon Biggs did a great job of filling in for AJ. He played pretty well in the middle, considering he hasn't had a lot of experience in there. But one thing I saw in that last game that I liked is I saw Jeff Garcia running the ball when he should run it to keep the chains moving in 3-down football. And I think if he keeps playing like that and gets more familiarized with his receivers, Calgary's offense is going to be a lot tougher.
Yeah, he's playing tough, but if he keeps running like that, some of his teammates are fearful that he might get hurt.
Well, you got to run smart, though. I mean, he can slide or go out of bounds. You don't have to be a hero.
Yeah, but this kid doesn't know anything about that smart stuff. He likes to be the hero. He wants to be the tough guy.
Yeah,
and I tell you what, playing against Saskatchewan, a team with the linebackers that they have and the defensive front forward they have, that could be some scary stuff.
But there is, certainly a lot of optimism with the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year. With that in mind, and look at what Montreal has gone through, losing back-to-back games. If Saskatchewan loses back-to-back to Calgary, yeah, it's early trouble early in the season, but difficult nonetheless, I would think, with the parity you have going in the Western Division.
Oh, I think the parity in the whole league is outstanding this year. I mean, everyone's got super defensive personnel, and, you know, the offenses are always behind when there's only 2 weeks of, or 2 preseason games to get ready to play. Right. And this year, the actual amount of time in training camp was even shortened up a couple more days. So it'll take the offenses a while to get in sync, but there's some great athletes in the league this year.
It is Reggie Slack getting the start, by the way, and not Kevin Mason, despite the way he played in the 4th quarter at McMahon last week. It is raining in Winnipeg, and the Bomber fans there looking for a comeback. Their team is down 12-3. So far, defense. We'll have more when Friday Night Football returns after this. We're live and interactive here at TSN, and maybe this is the biggest story of the night so far. Harrapin is not leading the QB1 standings. We'll try to have an update for you after the football game. A football game that has seen defense rule for about 29 of the 30 minutes before the Ticats finally got into the end zone, and they have the lead. Expect the numbers to be low. Let's head back to Winnipeg Stadium for John, Glenn, and David.
Well, it's a tough game to analyze. We can tell you the best quarterback on the field plays for the Hamilton Tiger Cats so far.
Yeah, Mike Colley went in at halftime with quite a bit of confidence. They threw the touchdown to Bert Thornton, but it looks like that he's playing with a purpose on the field, Glenn, and the other two quarterbacks for Winnipeg just don't seem to be into the ball game.
They certainly aren't. I mean, look at the numbers for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers: 44 yards passing, 20 rushing. Ron Williams has not been involved in this football game like he was last week. Now, granted, they're playing the Hamilton Ticats, which is a pretty good defense against the run, but Ron Williams has got to be involved more. And David, now, do they go back to Vargas in the second half?
I think so. I think Chris Vargas comes back in the ball game, and hopefully he comes back in with a purpose and then lets that offensive line do what they've done all year long. Get Ron Williams involved, play action pass, and do some of the things they do well.
Vargas was 0 for 8 in passing when he got the hook. Tiger Cats are on top for the first time at halftime all season long. Hang in for a sports break with Brendan Connor before the second half kickoff.
Friday night football night.
3 quarterbacks have played in this one. Only Mike Colley has had a good time out there at Winnipeg Stadium tonight. Chris Vargas makes the action again in the second half, but completed just 2 of 11 for 33 yards. Those are not impressive numbers.
Good job by Mike Colley, though. He went in at halftime with quite a bit of confidence after the touchdown to Bert Thornton. His best performance thus far as a Ticat.
Things could get a little more interesting now. A bit of a rain falling on Winnipeg Stadium. The Bombers ready to return. It's the linebacker on the kick return, Darnell Small. And Vargas gets another crack at it. Exactly what you would have done if you were coaching, right?
Yeah, Chris Vargas comes back in. He's the guy that won the job in training camp, took it away from Kevin McDougal, and let's get some continuity back in the offense. Get the people back in there that are supposed to be making the plays, and let's do some of the things that we're confident in doing. Play actioning and getting Ron and Williams involved in the running attack.
Milt Stiegel was the only Blue Bomber to catch a pass in the opening half. He had 3. Ticats by 9, and a penalty to start the second half.
Chris Perez got the momentum moving forward and couldn't stop it.
Tough when you're that big sometimes.
Winnipeg 62. He kind of leaned forward and he couldn't stop his momentum, and he kept going. It took about 4 steps.
6'6", 290.
Yeah, but that stuff, that's ridiculous, guys. Come on. You come out of the half, and the first play from scrimmage, you jump offside. I mean, where's the concentration?
Well, it's gone, obviously.
Now, with having the different quarterback again, with Kevin McDougal out, Vargas in there, would that make a difference?
Vargas had to hurry the throw. There was big-time pressure, and it was Joe Montfort again.
This front four's had a pretty good game. Here's Joe Montfort right here. Take off and get a pretty good pass rush. They've done a good job. They've had to play Doug Flutie on the ends, Gonzalo Floyd and Joe Montfort, and 2 times out of their 4 games, and that's a task in itself, and doing a pretty good job again tonight.
Good decision by Chris Vargas. They had a little screen on inside. It was smelled out by the defense.
2nd and 15. Bombers pen deep at their own 16. Vargas couldn't get it away and paid a heck of a price.
Willie Whitehead and Joe Montfort just had a meeting of the minds at the quarterback. Listen to this shot.
It's a QB sandwich there.
You know what? You can play quarterback. I don't want it.
My neck hurts right now. I don't know what the deal is. Wow, what a hit.
Montfort's had a night. And so has Whitehead. We've talked about both of them several times. Coupling out. Cameron kicking from his 2. Nice punt. Away from Wilhite. He may not have a play. He won't. 56-yard punt. Let's bring in Greg Musselman.
In the
short path, but they realize that this guy can do the job. And Jeff Reinbold, here's the pretty comment was just win. It's what you guys penned rights in the rain. It's a little wet down here.
Well, stay dry as best you can, Greg. Third quarter underway. Ticats get their hands on the football for the first time. Hamilton leading 12-3. Thomas got the call and actually appeared to lose his footing.
Yeah, the wet turf already taking its effect. Mike Colley got to have a lot of confidence right now. We've talked about how he rallied the team there in the closing minutes of the first half and pushed one across to give Coach Southern his first lead at halftime. And I think there's some confidence brewing within the young quarterback.
Well, I talked to Coach Southern before the game as well and asked him about whether or not he would switch Kendrick Nord in the game like he did against Toronto. He said, no, this is Colley's game unless he doesn't move the football team.
Colley looks at 2nd and 9. Had Winfield, he couldn't hang on. First time he's let one slip away.
Now David Archer was making throwing motions up here, and I'm wondering if he saw somebody open.
Well, I saw what we like to refer to as zero coverages, and that's got to be expected. I mean, Winfield's been down at the academy teaching and doing all those type of things and hadn't been catching a lot of footballs, but he's already made an impact on his team. But what I saw was zero coverage, no center fielder, no safety. Archie Emerson running one-on-one with a linebacker.
Okay.
Dexter Dawson awaits Paul Osbaldiston's punt. Ozzie into the wind, tries to keep it low. Dawson has been solid on returns tonight. He got nowhere that time. Wrapped up in a heck of a hurry by Kyle Walters. It's the Ticats on top. You're watching Friday Night Football. Dean Noel, the injured Ticat, being helped to the far side after sustaining an injury on punt cover here.
Right there, getting in on the tackle and got kneed by his own guy. Side of the head.
And you see who's laying there? Willie Whitehead. Down there. The guy is all over the field. He's making plays in the backfield. Now he's down on special teams and in on the tackle.
Willie Whitehead is covering kicks. He's 260 pounds. No, he's got to be in shape.
I'm really impressed with the way Hamilton's come to the ballpark, Glenn. They've come with, it seems like, a purpose. Maybe Earl Winfield has something to do with that. I think Don Southern has a lot to do with it. They just seem to be here to play, to get the W and get back home.
I think Don Southern has a whole lot to do with it.
Vargas is picked up by Steinauer down the sidelines. Cuts in. He may have an opportunity. Grabbed by Boyko at the 5.
Well, we'll have to see. I'm sorry, John. We'll have to see the instant replay here, but it looks like the receiver falls down. And Steinauer's there. That's his 4th interception of the year, leading the league in INTs. Alford slips, and that's death for a quarterback.
Well, when you say that, that's because Ted Alford, if he doesn't slip, he works back to the football. When he slips down, he can't do that. Now, Chris Vargas under a little bit of pressure. See Justin Rink coming from the outside. And again, Willie Whitehead causes some problems right up the middle for him. But Steinauer with his 2nd interception of the night, 4th on the season. And coming into this game, the Ticats only had 3 as a team. He had 2 of them. Now he's got 4 of their 5.
First and goal from the 5. Emerson got nowhere. Ball squirted loose, but after the whistle.
Well, that was an all-out blitz by the Winnipeg defense, trying to keep this and hold this to 3. This would be a victory for them if they can hold this to 3 points. But watch the commitment. There's 9 people coming after the ball carrier right here, maybe 10 people.
Just gap cancellation and send all those linebackers into the gaps, and then the only thing that can get you there is a little play action, naked bootleg.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and goal from the 6 now. Under the cover, Thornton. Couldn't quite hang on. The pass was a little low. He read it right, but had to fire a bit low because of the coverage.
Same look, Glenn. They're bringing everybody, and he's just got to get rid of it. This is going to have to be a hot throw.
down this side of the field. Andrew Henry's coming. And Colley adjusts. Andrew Henry from the safety jumps up in the air. Colley wants to throw it initially. He sees him right in his face, adjusts his reloads, throws again, and can't hit Thornton.
And that 13th defender, the goalpost, reared its ugly head on that play.
Osbaldiston looks to add to the Hamilton lead. They'll settle for 3 with Greg holding. Ozzie puts it through. Ticats on top 15-3. It's all Hamilton thus far at Winnipeg Stadium.
Hey, welcome back to Winnipeg Stadium with Kerry Moynihan, the general manager of the Canada Games, coming up August 9th to 23rd in Brandon. Kerry, it's getting close.
15 days to go, and Brandon's ready to welcome the nation.
When you look at the preparation that's gone on and all the athletes are going to be there, this is really going to be a great event.
It's the largest multi-sporting event in Canada, and we're ready for the nation.
Okay, Kerry Moynihan, the general manager of Brandon Games. We'll see you there. TSN will be there. Back up to John and the guys in the booth.
Canada Summer Games a couple of weeks away in Brandon. We look forward to being there for 2 weeks of fun and games. And here at Winnipeg Stadium, Osbaldiston kicks off after the Ticat field goal. Dexter Dawson, super night on returns. Another pretty nice one here, setting Winnipeg up at the 40-yard line. August 9th to 23rd. The second time the Canada Games will be held in Brandon. Daily coverage on TSN. Last Canada Games in Brandon, 1979. It was wintertime, and I was there for that.
Now, you got to work on this one now, don't you?
I'm going to be there for this one.
You can't just go and fool around up there now. You got a job to do.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. And it's going to be a lot warmer than the winter games of 79. Last 10 have missed the target. So he keeps it on the ground. Maybe that's a good idea. Ronald Williams.
Well, that's certainly a name we haven't heard tonight very much, and we expected him to be a factor in this ball game. We knew that Hamilton coming into the game had stuffed him in the first contest a couple of weeks ago, but we figured he'd be much more of a factor tonight.
Yeah, and you know, they only got 1 yard on that play, but now the Hamilton defense, if you keep doing that, has to respect that he may get the football. Now that holds the linebackers' drops. The DBs sometimes peek to help on the run, and it creates other things for your offense.
No opportunity to get the play underway. 7 carries for Williams thus far, 23 yards. He's the leading rusher in the CFL coming into this.
Time count violation. Winnipeg 16.
And the other interesting story is longest carry of the night for 5 yards.
Now, what happens on a time count violation for the quarterback? Is it usually that the call just doesn't come in time, or?
Usually the call doesn't come in time. A lot of times the referees, you don't notice that the referee blows the play in, and then you see somebody like Willie Whitehead foaming at the mouth to come after you. You're not really interested in snapping in the ball.
2nd and 13. Up for grabs, and it's picked out. Eric Carter has the interception. Justin Ring put it up in the air and up for grabs.
This is the danger of being in 2nd and long. Now you're going to see from Hamilton is you're going to see that blanket zone.
Well, you know, when you're David, when you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats and you're getting good pressure with just 4 people, you can play zone behind it. And Justin Ring, the linebacker to the outside, dropped in his zone, read Vargas's eyes, and then just knocked the ball up in the air for Eric Carter.
Good protection up front. He just tried to force the ball into his zone.
First interception for Carter. Ticats are set up again inside Blue Bomber territory at the 47. A little low. Thornton, the target. Colley missed.
Well, Mike needs to be able to see the coverage. He's got Winfield to the wide side of the field, but here's the interception. Watch the ball tip right there by Justin Ring.
Yeah, just flows to the football. Got a majority of my interceptions on the old tip drill.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. Just wait for we called them the garbage interceptions, but you know what? When they write them down in the stats, it's just one INT. That's it.
They forget how they look 5 years later. against Hamilton, he might think differently.
Jeff Horton, the newcomer, came back and hit Cauley.
Holding. Hamilton 64.
Your old teammate's having a tough night, Peter Shorts.
Well, what I liked about it, Pete Shorts is going to get called for the hold, but what I like is the way Cauley bounces up after this hit.
Peter Shorts working on Battle, who's been blitzing all night. You can see him grab and pull him down, and take a listen to the hit. Jeff Horton was a strong safety when he was at Eastern Tennessee State. Strong safeties hit all game.
Cauley looks at 2nd and 20. Here comes the charge from Greg Battle, who got around and in untouched. So Cauley wisely unloaded in a hurry.
Well, they really had that set up well. Again, that was a middle screen to Marcus Thomas, and he just didn't handle it.
And I think the Winnipeg defense was in a man-to-man with Dwayne Knight just spying his man, which was Marcus Thomas on the play. So he kind of sniffed it out, saw it coming, and was right there to make the tackle had he caught it.
Ozzie is in. Charge up the middle, he gets it away. Dexter Dawson surrounded. Great coverage by the Ticats special teams right there. 38-yard punt and literally no return. One more game in week 5 from Taylor Field tomorrow night. Jeff Garcia tries to make it 2 in a row over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Calgary won at McMahon.
Now, Jeff did a good job in the game last week. He talked about how he wanted to get everybody else involved, and he did that. And he got Anderson involved, and that was that's really the key to the Calgary attack. He got Anderson catching the football and running the football.
Who starts for quarterback for Saskatchewan?
Reggie starting. Reggie starting.
Okay.
Vargas has about 5 yards.
And kind of a pitiful cheer from the crowd here as they finally get a completion from their quarterback.
Yeah, and it was Alford's first catch.
This is just the hitch route. 3-step drop for the quarterback and pop it out there. Nice little move on Eric Carter.
Gerald Vaughn doesn't mind that. That's called 4 yards and a heading.
Stiegel escaped after making the catch. It'll be a Winnipeg first down. And there haven't been very many.
Well, these are the kind of throws they need to give Chris Vargas. DB's playing off, throw the little hitch routes, give him the short throws. Here again, 3-step drop, get it out of there.
Kenny Wilhite took a shot at the football and missed. When you gamble and don't get it, you get a big play on you.
Hurry up offense after a 15-yard gain. And he missed there, looking for Boyko. Steinauer covering.
You know,
just 5 Bomber first downs, guys.
This is not a bad move by Joe Paopao to get him in the hurry-up, and he liked to do this as a player as well. When your offense is struggling, get into the hurry-up offense, and you know you're going to get a more basic defense on the other side.
Stiegel again. Another Bomber first down. He escapes. Tracked down from behind by 2 Ticats. Stiegel got there and got help from Wilhite.
You know, Milt Stiegel was heavily involved in the offense in the first quarter, and then he kind of went away. I think Vargas and McDougal forgot about him, and now he's made back-to-back catches. This is what Stiegel's in the lineup to do, is make the big play for this offense.
And Chris Vargas has got 4 straight snaps of straight cover 3 defense, 3 deep zone from Hamilton.
Stiegel has 5 catches. Alford has 1, and that's the Bomber passing. There's 1 on a wounded duck out there for Boyko.
Yeah, that's the one when you're playing the schoolyard, you hear a lot of wank, 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 wank. You never heard that, though, did you?
Never. But still, he got the completion and got a 4-yard pickup and keeps himself in a conversion situation, meaning 6 yards or less.
Home run toss. Nobody home.
Wilhite wants a penalty. Or excuse me, Stiegel wants a penalty.
On Wilhite.
Exactly.
I knew what you were trying to say.
You know where I was getting at. Wilhite was covering him.
Well, blitz coverage this time from Hamilton. No center fielder, and that's what Stiegel saw, and of course that's what Vargas saw. Stiegel took a little bit different angle across the field than Vargas was expecting, and Vargas threw the ball deep into the end zone as opposed to the crossing angle. That's where the misconnection was.
Troy Westwood has accounted for Winnipeg's only points. 1 for 1. He goes for his second air from the 35. That looked a little wounded too. Wilhite ready to concede right about now. 20,863 on hand at Winnipeg Stadium for Winnipeg's first Friday night football match. Friday night football live from Winnipeg Stadium. A little more life in the Bombers until Westwood missed his second field goal of the night. So they turn it right back to the Tiger Cats and Mike Colley. Good play action fake to Anderson. It opens up for Colley. He has Thornton. Had it set up nicely there. Colley had an opportunity to run and just fired to Thornton at the last second.
Now, is it the hold or the kick? Because I know when I held, it was always there. It was always the kicker.
Well, the snap was high, and Bob Cameron handled it perfectly. Even had the threads headed towards the goalpost. That's just a miss on Westwood's part.
Now, if you asked Ridgway, he would say it was always the hold.
Ticats pick up 17. Morreale makes his first catch. About halfway to a first down. Colley is gaining confidence with every down out there. Interesting to watch.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Colley seems to really be a different quarterback than before this game started. The play previous to this, a play-action fake, actually pulled some of the halfbacks in, pulled it out, and hit Thornton on the crossing route. And here, good first down completion, 6-yard, 5-yard gain. Now he's at second median.
About 4 yards short of the first down. Had the big eyes on that one, Dave. Looked like there was a big hole, and it closed in quickly.
Well, they had this one shut completely down. He hoped to bootleg like he'd done 2 plays previous. Battle actually thought it was a running play. Comes back and gets in on the tackle. He missed the tackle there, but he was fooled by the run fake, and that's what they got on the first play. The defensive end didn't bite on it that time, and they sewed him in.
Just the one touchdown in Winnipeg. Ticats have it at a 15-4 lead.
Downfield, hands are in.
Not much of a charge on us Palmerston as Dexter Dawson drops a flag and finds a seam. It's up to Ozzie to slow him down. He tried to roll underneath him, but it was enough to get Dexter a little bit of time and a great return.
You know, if you're Jeff Reinbold right now, you got to be thinking this. You haven't played very well offensively all game. It's only 15-4. It's just an 11-point football game. You're getting some field position out of Dexter Dawson. You have a great chance to win this football game in a game you played pretty poorly. And the credit has to go to that Winnipeg defense, who have been in some tough situations and responded.
48-yard return by Dexter Dawson.
Well, he's had a super night tonight, and there he breaks the tackle, and then the rest of the boys get in on the blocking.
Alford's second catch of the ball game. Big first down Winnipeg, and a couple of good hits on Alford. Now Vargas on a bit of a roll.
Well, this game, so much rides with the emotion back and forth. Dexter Dawson makes the big return. Somebody else wants to step up and make a play. Here, Alford, we hadn't seen him going there all day, and now he's running with reckless abandon.
13-yard gain. at the Ticat 29 all of a sudden. Vargas standing in. And another strike. Turhan O'Bannon's first catch of the ball game.
Now they're staying in the no-huddle offense right now, and this is allowing Vargas to keep the same defense. Basically, Glenn Suter alluded to it earlier, to lock the defense in to a certain extent. Only a minimal amount of calls you can get to here, Glenn.
Well, the safety's got to call it on the fly, so Hitchcock's going to go with the simple calls, and he's going to try and keep everyone assignment-wise knowing what they're doing. He doesn't want any confusion, so Rob Hitchcock's calling cover 3 the whole way down the field, and Chris Vargas knows it.
If you didn't hear the whistle, there was one, and that play was dead before it began. O'Bannon gets another 16 yards for the Bomber total, and Winnipeg has suddenly come to life. Not only the football team, but this stadium.
Now, this stadium's been sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to have something to cheer about. They got a little excited about the return that Dexter Dawson made earlier for a touchdown that was called back, and once again, Dexter stepped up and lit a fire in this crowd.
Now, what signal could that be? See you later for one in the bar? Yeah, Joe goes, you're buying.
I'm sure it hinges completely on whether he gets the ball in the end zone right here.
Well, Vargas, a hot hand on this sequence. Ronald Williams, another marker, another hold.
Normally when the umpire throws it, you're going to get a holding call.
Holding, Winnipeg number 60.
That's the center, Dave Ancona.
Here's Dave Ancona right here at the center. Working on Mike Philbrick initially, and no question Philbrick can't get away. He's got his hands on the outside of those shoulder pads.
1st and 20. Back at the Ticats, 22 now. Big heat on Vargas, steps up. What a bullet! Down to the goal line and touchdown! Turhan O'Bannon, first touchdown as a Blue Bomber. And finally, the booster buggy can roll around Winnipeg Stadium. The Bombers are in the end zone.
Super catch by Turhan O'Bannon. He's in harm's way here, Glenn, but he goes up and makes the catch for his quarterback. And when you're struggling at quarterback, boy, you love to see a guy do this for you.
Well, it really is. I talked to the Bomber coaching staff before the game, and they talked about Turhan O'Bannon being real pumped up to get back into this football game. Last year, he only played 4 games for the Bombers. He was in camp with Winnipeg.
My first one, baby, yeah! Yeah!
And you can see how pumped up he is to be back in this game and back with the Bombers.
Watch where Turhan O'Bannon ends up. This is an area where you really don't like the ball thrown high to you. Watch him go get it.
Oh, this is a minefield. Rob Hitchcock tried to play the ball and missed it.
Super job by Vargas to step up in the pocket.
2 Ticats also collided.
And I think that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers may have got away with one. Joe Mumford was coming off the edge working on Craig Hendrickson. Oh, is that a hold?
No. He just ran him right around the corner, and a super job by Vargas to step up in that pocket that offensive line has done a good. The hold is when you drag a man down. As long as he hooks the arm in there himself, in that sequence, he hooks the arm under on the rip. As long as you don't drag the man down and keep your hands placed in the same position and run him by the pocket, not a hold.
How about a tale of 2 halves for the Bomber quarterback? 2 of 11 Vargas first half, 8 of 13, most of it on that drive for 121 yards, 3rd quarter. 22-yard strike to Turhan O'Bannon, and it's a 4-point ball game with a monster kickoff, chasing Ruffin all the way back into the end zone. A three-point game now. Westwood on a loaded one.
Well, I think Troy had a little stored up from that short field goal he missed just a little while ago because he hammered this kick.
A 90-yard kickoff. A minute 30 to go, third quarter. We were talking about the confidence that Colley had built up. All of a sudden, his opponents, Chris Vargas, has a little bit after that drive. So now it'll be pretty interesting.
Well, now he's got to put some stock into that confidence that he's gotten over the last couple of quarters and see if he can step up for this team.
Oh, good fake. But it didn't fool all the Bombers.
Football is a game of emotion, and it swings both ways. A couple of big plays, one touchdown, and now defensively you are pumped up. To a man, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have now regained the momentum in this football game.
And credit number 5, Dexter Dawson, for kickstarting them a second time.
Gain is 2, second and 8. Ticats near the 35. Colley goes to the shotgun. That one is batted down. I don't know who got a hand on it, but it's 2 and out for the Tiger Cats. Momentum has shifted dramatically. Noga is celebrating down there, and he was definitely in the area.
Junior Tongawai and Colin Scribner were in the middle. It was Junior Tongawai who got his hand up and knocked that one down.
Dawson would like to create a little more magic. Osbaldiston standing back inside his 25. Tough to hear in here. Good kick by Ozzie. Dawson takes it on one hop. Little spin move. And he's surrounded.
You know, before the kick, you could sense it in the crowd here that they were just waiting for Dexter Dawson to get his hands on the ball, and he made a nice play there to cut the ball off.
Talk about Vargas in the first half. He was awful. He's recovered a bit. 10 of 24, still under 500, but he had a great run on that drive. At one point tonight, he was 0 for 8.
Now the Hamilton defense has had some opportunity on the sideline now to go over 2 or 3 defensive calls if Vargas stays in the hurry-up. So you may see a little difference in this series.
Williams, a better run this time. In behind Hendrickson for 1. That's the end of the third quarter. We've got a ball game. It's a 3-pointer as we send you back to CFL Friday Night Football Control.
Friday Night Football, live at the quarter, is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Welcome back to our control studio. Rod Smith with Obie, Les, and Marty. Yeah, we do have a ball game, not just because it's getting closer, but when you get some of those sticks, you want to be a quarterback in pro football? Man, this is not an easy business, Les.
Well, you know what? Defense set up this good football game. Just remember that. Defense set up this good football game. Now, we're going to take a look at and hear some of these great hits. Now, this one is on Joe Munford. Joe Munford comes from the outside. This guy is some football player. Listen to this. Now, Marty, doesn't that get you excited? Now,
That's rather violent.
Wait, we have one more coming up. It's not done yet. We're going to show you another one on Mike Colley.
Okay.
But this one was so good, too. Listen, listen, listen.
The only way that could be better is if that was Marty carrying the ball.
Oh, nice, nice. Now we're getting, okay, come on.
Take your gloves off, come on.
Now we're getting mean.
Well, I mean, we've got a close football game now, and I don't know.
I'll tell you what, Rod, if I'm Don Southern right now, I'm worried not only about losing the game at this very moment, but also losing my job, because I don't think that he's going to come out with his job if they lose, and I think with the momentum switching, I think they're going to lose.
Well, Marty, let's wait a minute. Now, they got the win in the fourth quarter, and there's a whole quarter to be played. And it's going to be up to Mike Colley to get some offense going for him because they should get good field position with the win in the fourth quarter.
So somber for Don Southern. Hey, his team's in it, leading by 4. We still have a quarter of football to play. Back to Winnipeg Stadium we go and rejoin the guys.
Actually, it's a 3-point lead at 15-12 after that 90-yard single by Troy Westwood. And that's a huge play all of a sudden. 3 points. Field goal ties it.
And I agree with Les Brown. This has been a defensive struggle, and the defenses have set up this close ball game. 2 good defensive efforts, and Chris Vargas now standing on the sidelines, and Kevin McDougal is coming to the ball game.
Did he get hurt? Or is this the hook?
I don't understand this move. And if he's hurt, then I understand it. But if he's not hurt, I don't understand.
I mean, that was a marvelous drive, and he was passing perfectly, especially on the touchdown. Little option play as they try to get Williams around the corner. Bombers had a big third quarter, and it changes the complexion slightly. 10 yards, 168 Winnipeg. Bombers have turned it over 4 times and are back within 3. -1 on the option play.
And that's why Chris Vargas was on the sideline.
To run
McDougal to run the option play. Joe Powell thought coming out of a quarter, he could change quarterbacks and maybe get him on an option play. But as it turned out, McDougal didn't run it very well. He didn't attack the cover guy or the outside contain guy, and he just rallied to the pitch.
Yeah, I thought he just pitched that early. He just got rid of it, and then when that happens, the defense can just flow to the running back.
Bombers are trying to do something, sneaking Boyko back on the field. Count the heads out there. Alan Boyko came off, then tried to sneak back on.
They're missed.
Yeah, it's kind of like that red alert play or whatever they called it.
No, that's a long walk right there when you've forgotten what special team.
Everybody accounted for. Cameron boots it away. A return for Willi. Bombers should have gotten an Academy Award for this the other day. They call this Dirty Red. The Canadian rifle fired to Greg Battle for a first down in a key situation.
And he was so open because Bob Cameron threw a balloon out there.
Wait a minute, that looked all right.
There was similar confusion down here as Boyko came off. He dragged the Tiger Cat to the sidelines with him.
But you knew they were prepared for it.
Well, they were at least expecting something. Colley has it open up for him. Good pump fake. Has about 8.5.
Don Southern's instructions to Mike Colley before the Toronto game was to run first and pass second. And I'm sure for the most part that hasn't changed much.
Well, I think he's graduated to another level, though. I think Colley's done some good things throwing the football, and this is a good decision he makes here. He does pull it down and run with it, and he's only about 2 yards short of the first down.
Well, it really is. I mean, he's got great running ability. He had over 100 yards rushing in that Toronto game, so if he can get a seam, pick up 8 on first down, that's a good decision, definitely.
Small delay with an injury timeout far side of the field. Bert Thorpe, Ticat wide receiver, being attended to.
Well, this is a guy that can ill afford to lose. He's tied with Mike Morreale as the leading receiver on the team, and he had the touchdown catch earlier, made a nice move to get in the end zone, and this is a guy that Mike Colley has developed a little bit of rapport with. Not real deep over there. I guess Andrew Grigg will probably come in to fill his slot, but this is a core of receivers that are really banged up right now.
Absolutely.
Bert Thornton, at the current pace of the receivers for Hamilton, was the only Hamilton receiver that was going to get close to 1,000 yards receiving this year. So
closing in on 100 tonight, 3 for 73 and the touchdown.
Well, with Prince Wimley out and Ted Long out, you know, the problems for Don Southern mount. Now, you know, the panel was talking about Don Southern losing his job if they lose this game. Now, my opinion is that's a bad move. Now, you've got your starting quarterback on the bench. You've lost 2 starting wide receivers, now 3 in this game. I mean, makes it tough for a head coach. And I mentioned it earlier, if you fire Don Southern, you fire a defensive coordinator, a defensive back, and coach, and a head coach. It's a lot of positions to fill.
Second down, Morreale converts for a first down, Tiger Cats. Hamilton leading by 3 at 15-12. Just nicely into the fourth quarter at Winnipeg Stadium on Friday Night Football. 7 yards for Mike Morreale.
Nice throw here by Mike Colley. He just steps to the left. Little out route by Mike Morreale and sticks the ball on him. Real good throw, good authority on the throw.
First down, Tiger Cats. Stegall leads the receivers. He was big on the touchdown drive for Winnipeg. Bill Stegall. Now it's Colley's turn. 1st and 10. Just shy of the Winnipeg 50. Amerson. Flags down.
It's coming
by Noga.
It's coming back. Winnipeg was coming with the short halfback blitz. Shannon Garrett came off the corner from the short side.
Holding Hamilton 54.
Blaine Schmidt playing his 174th consecutive game tonight. That's a nice little story there. He'd rather forget about the holding.
Working there on Junior Tongoai. When you send the secondary blitz, sometimes those offensive linemen are in a bit of a panic to try and pick up their man.
25 penalties called tonight. 1st and 20. Colley has to run for his life. Throw it out of bounds.
Well, I think Rubner caught the ball as he was going out of bounds, and they're going to give him the ball.
I think he did. I think Colin Scribner caught that and kept his feet in bounds.
Colley couldn't make up his mind whether to throw the ball away or eat it, and at the last minute, I don't know whether the ball slipped out of his hand or just flipped it, but Colin Scribner makes a heck of a catch pursuing the quarterback.
This will hurt the Tiger Cats, and it'll hurt Colley's confidence.
Well, now, wait a minute. No, they're saying it's no catch. I mean, here it comes. Now, Colin Scribner is number 92. He's going to catch. Watch this. He catches the ball right there and keeps his foot in bounds. That's a bad call by the official. You only need one foot in the CFL. Colin Scribner was in bounds.
Penalty number 26.
Whoa, they missed one there.
Should be Winnipeg ball.
Absolutely.
See it there.
You know, the field judge, I believe that's who's on that side of the field, made the call and gave Winnipeg the football and evidently got overruled.
Illegal procedure. Hamilton 64.
That's Pete Shorts for holding.
Now watch this. Look at this foot right in here. That's Colin Scribner. He has the football, and that foot right there is in bounds. You only need one. Whoa.
Now, if we can keep this running, let's see what the referee does here.
What do you do on 2nd and 41? Well, this works a little bit. Almost. Out to midfield. Dean Noel. And the Bombers Bombers weren't expecting that. It won't be a first down, but it gets the Ticats out of a deep hole and gets them back with a chance to regain field position.
Well, yeah, that's the key right there, field position. I mean, Colin Scribner intercepts that ball on the 30-yard line. Now, Dexter Dawson's going to go line up on his own 5-yard line. You guys do the math.
You add that up
10,
for me, will you?
20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That's a 70-yard switch.
It's a bunch of yards, you're right. Osbaldiston.
Hands in now, hands are in now.
And he tries to keep it away from Dexter and does. Rolling it out nicely about the 11-yard line. Don Southern got away with one, we think. Ticats hang on to a 15-12 lead on Friday Night Football. Well, the Bombers missed an opportunity and start deep in their own zone back at the 11-yard line. Boyko to the near side. That's Alan Boyko. 1st and 10, Winnipeg. Ronald Williams made a lot out of a play with few breaks, a few blocks, I should say. Well, the Bombers are still a little steamed at the play that wasn't called, and there's some interesting conversations going on. That's Neil Payne, one of the supervisors from the officiating staff, and Ross Perrier.
And he was talking down to the officials about this play right here because Colin Scribner has his feet inbounds right there when he caught the ball.
Vargas just got it away. Marker down.
Intentional grounding. Winnipeg 16.
So they call it intentional grounding. That will count as a sack.
Well, no question about this. Chris Vargas was in the grass. Mike Philbrick and going down and just threw it into the dirt. There was no receiver anywhere near that ball, and it was a good call. But Joe Palpal must be thinking back now.
Field side corner.
He's going to look at this tape and see 70 yards of field position gone.
You know, they got a little lucky there. If Vargas had been trapped in the end zone and thrown it away as a grounding, it would have been a safety.
Cameron Nils went out of the end zone. Ticats with Wilhite ready to return. Great field position near the 40. Tough tackling down there by the Blue Bombers. Well, the place still humming about a call that we believe was absolutely missed.
Well, the referee was standing right on the spot. Colin Scribner caught the ball. Now, see the official run down there from one side and the other.
Watch number 26. Watch number 26. Now, he's going to say incomplete. And I think if you look a little bit further, I think he actually gives the ball, and then they finally call it incomplete after a huddle.
Ticats nicely set up at the Bomber 41 with a 3-point lead. Wide open for Colley. He's got a first down to about the 29, wrapped up by Dwayne Knights.
Pretty good decision by Colley. Great battle, takes off on the blitz. Colley sees him coming, and look at the hole.
Well, that's a design call. It's just a quarterback draw. You saw Dean Noel go to the front side to block the defensive end, and Colley took the hole, went straight up the middle, and picked up the first down. Playing to your quarterback's strengths. Colley's obviously a strong runner, and that's a good call by Coach Blackwell during the offensive unit.
Ticats with a first down at the Bomber 30. 9:22 to play, fourth quarter. It's Hamilton by 3. Colley drops, fires quickly for Andrew Grigg. Angry at himself for missing Grigg, who had a little bit of room to operate over there.
They're getting a variety of coverages now. Coach Reinbold is very good at designing different coverages that you don't normally see, and they play halves of the field, Glenn. That time they split the field, and 3 defenders on one side of the field and 3 defenders on the other, and we're just playing a box.
Second and 10. Cawley looking deep. He's got him this time. Andrew Gregg celebrating a touchdown with Earl Winfield. A 30-yard toss. Mike Cawley to Andrew Gregg.
What a super throw by Mike Cawley. He stands in and really drills this football, and this is maybe his best throw of the night.
Well, Jeff Reinbold shaking his head because he had Andrew Henry, number 24, was supposed to help out deep. But Archie Amerson popped out wide open, and Andrew Henry took him. That left Reggie Carthon in a one-on-one to the wide field with no help.
Now Gregg will hold for the extra point on his touchdown catch. Gregg gets into the ball game with an injury to Bert Thornton. Thornton had a touchdown early. Gregg has one now. Ticats widen the margin to 10. Marty York thinks it'll be a rainy night in Winnipeg when the Tiger Cats win a ball game. What do you think, guys?
We got it.
It's raining.
Ticats by 10, a long way to go. 8:36 left in the 4th quarter. Dave Pitcher, second kick return of the night. Let's bring in Greg Musselman from the Ticat bench as another flag flies down there. Greg?
Okay, thanks, John. As we noted, Bert is injured. Bert Thornton was injured on the play, and he's got a quad injury. They put ice on it, gave him a couple of aspirin. But Andrew Gregg came over, gave him a big hug, and that seemed to lighten up his face a little bit. But he's gone for the game.
Well, they'll share that touchdown. For the record, it was Andrew Gregg's first CFL touchdown.
You know, and Andrew Gregg is a receiver that can play in this league. He had a great game against these people last week, or last ball game, had 5 catches for 74 yards. And I talked to Andrew before the game, and he's really excited about getting on the field. He knew that he was excited that Winfield was back simply because he gives him a lot.
After the infraction on the kick return team, the Bombers back to the 26. And from there, Vargas tossed it rather aimlessly to this sideline.
That's a long throw to the wide field.
Long throw.
Yeah.
Chris Vargas had a horrible first half. Quite a solid 3rd quarter. And now he has to make up 10 points. Not throwing into tight coverage like that, he won't. Aldridge was there. So was Gerald Bond. Who was the target?
And guess who hit Vargas right in the chin as he let it go? I'll put my vote in right now, Glenn. If this guy isn't the defensive player, I know Orlando Stonehunter is going to get some votes. If that guy isn't the MVP on defense this week, I don't know anything about football. That guy has played a tremendous game.
You know, talking about 92?
Yeah. Willie Whitehead.
The game is won and lost in the trenches, and Willie Whitehead is having himself a night.
Gets a chance to play with Mike Campbell out. With sore ribs, Cameron kicking into a driving wind and a driving rain. Keeps it low. Steinauer can't stretch it out for much more than 5 yards on the return. Make it about 3 yards on the return. 10-point ball game. It's Friday Night Football from Winnipeg. Veteran assistant CFL coach Urban Bowman worked a little time as the Blue Bomber head coach. They've got lots of experience at this Hamilton bench. Joe Moss was a head coach in this league at one time too, and Don Southern has been an assistant coach for 15 seasons. I think that 14 into his 3rd season as the Ticats head coach. Emerson breaks away.
There's a lot of experience on that staff, but all the credit goes to that guy right there in my mind. He's deflected all of the personal anguish that he's gone through with all the attacks from the media that he's going to be fired, and came and brought his ball club here and had them ready to play, and they've responded.
Yeah, and you talk to him personally, and he'll tell you that, yeah, it's tough. It's tough on his family, but he never lets the players know. And it was interesting talking to some of the guys today. They said that he still inspires them in the pregame speech, and that's almost, you never hear that really from coaches anymore in pro sports. They usually just say, hey, go play. But he really gets them riled up before the game, apparently.
Second and 5. Ticats trying to take a little time off the clock and maybe add a point or two. Whoa, this is a rocket. Earl was about 5 yards behind that in the driving rain.
I tell you, Mike Colley just showed off his arm. This was a cannon. Yeah, Earl might get this one in a couple of weeks, man. He's just maybe a little tight, a little sore from practice this week.
Brandon Hamilton thought he was going to run the curl, and Winfield kept going. Still in behind him, but you know what Hamilton will say? That's just a long incompletion.
Smile on Earl Winfield's face. I think he might be happy about the rain here, cooling things off.
Yeah.
It was a sticky night for a guy who hadn't been catching footballs for about 4 months.
I'm impressed with how much he's played tonight. He's been in the ballgame the majority of the night tonight, especially with the injury to Thornton.
3rd and 5. Osbaldiston will kick it to Dexter Dawson. Whistle blew. Practice kick. Nice one.
I think Cooper Harris is
illegal
outside.
procedure. Hamilton 38.
Cooper Harris jumped offside there. About 2 steps.
Do now. Harris has been in and out of the Tiger Cat lineup. Play a week, miss a week. 18 games with Toronto. Last year he was around for the Grey Cup.
He's got a couple of special teams tackles, so when he's gotten a chance to play, he's contributed.
Ring kick.
Hands up.
Rolling out at about the 17. 46-yard punt. Aussies kicked well tonight. The Bomber quarterback, Chris Vargas, has played well in spurts. 10 for 26, 154 yards. Not too impressive, but the streak he put together to get the touchdown after going something like 2 and 13 in the first half says he came back and got the Bombers close.
Well, that's something that you get from a young quarterback that hasn't played a lot, is you get streakiness in him. You'd like to eliminate that, eliminate the peaks and the valleys, and play a little bit more even keel.
Bombers are down by 10. Not out of it with 6:04 to go. And Vargas gets a little something together here like this. All alone and long gone. At least he appeared to be. Ted Alford. Where did he come from?
Well, this is going to be a blown coverage, Glenn.
No question. It looked like Kenny Wilhite and Orlando Steinauer were playing over there, and they both took the short zone. One of those two has to be deep. The cover 3 zone, that means 3 players deep now between Kenny Wilhite and Orlando Steinauer. One of them has to be deep. Neither were.
Did he turn the wrong way after making the catch? I thought he had a wide open path down the left side. 65 yards nonetheless. Bombers at the Ticat 27. Vargas. Good play to get it away. He has Boyko, who breaks the tackle. Bruce Boyko hasn't touched the ball a lot. He gets almost 10.
Now, Chris Vargas is scrapping and fighting and trying to get the ball out. He gets it out to Boyko, and here comes Calvin Tiggle. Nice pop from the inside linebacker.
Hurry up offense for the Bombers again with Halpa working things from the sidelines. Touchdown toss. There it is. We didn't hear much from Turhan O'Bannon in the early going, but he's made an impact here. second touchdown catch of the night.
Oh my! Rob Hitchcock was not in the ball game. Hamilton went at safety with Kyle Walters. Kyle Walters is only in his second year and hasn't really played anything more than special teams and didn't give much help to his halfback. I believe it was Gerald Vaughn on the play.
He was so open. You won't believe this.
Well, this is a good route by Turhan O'Bannon. He goes to the corner, and Walters just doesn't read it quickly enough. A young safety just getting in there, not having a lot of time, playing a lot of special teams.
And you know what? I stand corrected. Hitchcock was on the sideline, yes. Kyle Walters was the safety, but Melvin Aldridge was asked to cover Turhan O'Bannon. Now he knows he's got safety help, but he didn't get it on the play.
O'Bannon has back-to-back touchdowns. The Bombers are back within 3 points of the Tiger Cats with all kinds of time to finish up in Winnipeg.
What a throw by Chris Vargas.
Maybe his best throw of the night, Glenn. And I'll tell you, when you've been struggling, there's not a better feeling in the world. He puts this ball right on the money.
Collars at the Tiger Cat bench tightening a little bit more as O'Bannon celebrates his second touchdown. And Jeff Reinbold is right back in this thing. In the rain in Winnipeg. And Wilhelm. Grabbed by that kamikaze guy down there, Wade Miller. This guy is fun to watch on special teams.
Yeah, Wade Miller's one of those effort guys. He's a guy that's just always around the football. Looks like there's a conference on the field between the officials now trying to sort something out.
Penalty against the Bombers coming up here, I do believe. .4:17 to go in the final quarter on Friday Night Football from Winnipeg.
Objectionable conduct, Winnipeg bench interference.
Now I wonder who that was.
Yeah, we didn't get a number. We had one of these calls last night, John, when they called Elfrid Payton for coming off the bench, when in turn, really, he was coming off to take his defensive assignment and just shoved the guy, and they flagged him 15 yards.
Well, the other thing,
bad call.
They could have called Frank on that play for taunting after the interception.
Very much so. I thought that was a bad call. We didn't get a number here, so no way to determine what the situation was there.
Well, strap on the chin straps. We're ready for the final four in Winnipeg. Ticats have the lead by 3. Amerson has the ball for Hamilton. Bombers have been tough to run against.
Great blow by the Winnipeg linebackers to string Archie Amerson out on the running play. He really had no hole to hit. Dwayne Knight, Greg Battle, and George Noga. Watch them slide to their left. There's Dwayne Knight. Here comes Battle. George Noga's in chase. There is no seam for Amerson to run through.
9 carries for 32 yards. There were 3 there for Amerson. So he was winning the battle with the running backs earlier. But no doubt that Ronald Williams of the Bombers has closed the gap in the second half.
Well, the 20,000 plus now are making their effort to help this defense because they've raised the level. Giving Collie some problems in the shotgun to call the signals, maybe change the play.
They're looking to add a little more time on the clock. Well, there you go. They've asked to get rid of the make noise sign.
Well, I'll tell you what,
on the scoreboard.
You're scraping to find things to complain about. You're complaining about what's going on the scoreboard.
Second down, Hamilton. They need about 8. Collie, deep drop. Thomas.
Who missed it? He's got to go to the
Well,
back.
this is a super call. This has been a call that's worked for them all night long. They missed it on an incompletion earlier, but it's been there 3 times they've run this. And Thomas showed his all-out speed here. He got a great block right after the catch, and then it was all Thomas.
And you heard George Reinbold talking about who missed him. He's talking about who missed the tackle. They're in man-to-man defense, and one of the linebackers was assigned to Marcus Thomas. It was Darnell Small.
45, you're right.
And Darnell Small had backed off and created a whole bunch of room, so when he tried to come up and make the tackle, he allowed angles to get blocked.
And you know who made the block there was Pete Shorts. Shorts has had a tough night, and he got the hand on him just enough to deflect the defender and let Thomas get clean.
62 yards, the touchdown. Marcus Thomas made it happen after catching a screen pass. Ticats by 10 once more. Bomber bench a little dejected. It has been an interesting evening of ebb and flow going back and forth. Momentum shifting both ways.
Well, it's a screen pass. Watch the line turn him loose. Collie draws him to him and throws to Thomas. And Thomas was off to the races.
Collie caught Winnipeg in the perfect defense. A blitz from Greg Battle, and he knows that Marcus Thomas only has to make one guy miss to break it, and he does.
Did Battle overplay it, or did Small have a problem?
No, Darnell Small missed the tackle. It was his man.
3:02 to go. So says the clock at Winnipeg Stadium. Our first visit here for Friday Night Football. Bombers down by 10. Alford on the return team that time. Now the ball squirted loose. Game story for this one is interesting. You guys want to explain it?
But like you said, John, it's been ebb and flow back and forth, and that's what football really is all about. Who's got the momentum? Who doesn't? Who's going to try to change that momentum?
The two sides of Chris Vargas have like two different people.
First half, second half.
Now, these are two teams that have been penalized a lot, and 200 yards and penalties tonight has aided to the fact of this game going back and forth. Here's Alford. Ted Alford, we thought he might have fumbled the football.
No.
I don't think so.
The ground can't make you fumble.
The ground cannot create a fumble situation. Vargas swings and fires for Alford.
Now the word is that Rob's
got about 6.
Sorry, John. The word is Rob Hitchcock is out of the football game with a sprained ankle. So Kyle Walters will play the free safety position.
Well, they needed a big defensive stop, and they didn't get it. Greg Battle knows it.
Ted Alford making the catch. Good for 8 yards. It's second down, Winnipeg.
10-point game, 2:48 to go. 2nd and 2, Winnipeg. Oh! Why did he jump? Stiegel.
Well, the ball was a bit high, and that might be credited to Mike Philbrick, because he just distributed his headgear into Vargas's chest, and I think that there was a little bit of the alligator arms here from Milt Stiegel.
The Ticats nominee for outstanding defensive player last year. Wanted to let Chris Vargas know he was around still.
Cameron is in. The Bombers will kick it away. Too deep for the Tiger Cats, just in case. Another penalty flag flies. Aaron Ruffin for 5 on the return. The punt covered 42. Well, the pressure has been building on Don Southern since the season began.
Certainly a lot of pressure from, of course, it's basically been from the media, and obviously they want to put some people in the stands, and when you lose in that doesn't happen. But this guy has really done a great coaching job to get this young team with a young quarterback with all the injuries to play hard.
The defense which is his keen interest, has really come around. We talked about that at the outset.
Yeah, John, you see what Paul Osbaldson says about him, and to a player, this Hamilton Ticat team loves to play for Don Southern.
Mike Colley has played reasonably well in his third CFL game. Second chance as a starter.
Darnell Small trying to make some amends there. Shot through the gap, and
the people who are counting out Hamilton after going 0-4 better rethink that a little bit, especially if they get this victory tonight. All of a sudden you start thinking about some of the components that are coming together. With Winfield coming back, there's been some talk about Matt Cody being available and coming back. Anthony Calvillo getting healthy. They got two great running backs. We've seen what Amerson, and we saw what Thomas did on that screen pass. The defense is playing well. Hey, all of a sudden, I tell you, he's put together a pretty good team.
You know what? And think back to the two games that Don Southern's team has played the Toronto Argonauts. Played them close both times. Had a chance to win both times.
Absolutely. 2nd and 12, Tiger Cats. He can't get it away. Mike Colley didn't fool Small that time.
Well, he got pinned on the bootleg, but already has learned one lesson tonight, Glenn. He tried to throw a ball away that probably should have been an interception we documented earlier, but earlier in his career, which is only a couple of games ago, he might have tried to throw that ball. But he's already learning. The young guy realized, okay, I'm going to minimize the mistake and take the sack and eat the football.
Earlier tonight, he threw up an interception that he should have eaten or fired out of bounds.
And Darnell Small makes amends with back-to-back plays on a missed tackle earlier, but
here's the book on Colley, guys, as it stands right now. 16 of 30, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in game 3 of your CFL career. Those aren't bad numbers.
That's a super job. You know what's really come to fruition here is the fact that the defense didn't stop them the last time, but now they have stopped them deep in their own territory, and with 2 minutes to go in this game, if Vargas can strike quick, suddenly the flow goes back the other way again.
And don't bet against that happening. That flow sliding back in the other direction. It's been that kind of a football evening. 2:02 on the clock. The Bombers are down by 10. And one more penalty. It's number 27.
Donovan Wright got flagged.
And they're going to give up a safety.
And this is what I've been calling for all year long. They're going to put Kenny Wilhite in the ball game to try to run some time off the clock.
Now
he's not going to get much off the clock. Well, they might. Now penalty markers in the end zone.
Now this is
a holding call, I guess.
Because yes, they give up the safety and the 2 points.
They have to kick it away.
Now they kick it away. It's an 8-point football game. Okay? Now a touchdown and a 2-point convert
ties it.
Ties it.
See, I love it when you get into math. It really gets me excited.
Okay? Now
draw something on the illustrator. Do the math. Add it up.
Add it up.
Boy, if you fans could just see what going through Glenn's mind, you can really see him concentrating right now. Really trying to draw something together right now.
The little light went on.
I'm talking about the decision for Don Southern. Now, yes, you get the field position advantage, but there was 2 possessions. Winnipeg needed 2 possessions to win.
Yeah, but I think that's the only call he can go with here, Glenn. If he kicks the ball and Dawson takes it back or gets him down inside the 20 or whatever, the 30-yard line, Vargas gets a quick score, and now you got a 3-point ball game.
Right.
It's the same situation. So
you're forcing them to score a touchdown and get a 2-point convert.
Right. No, now it's a 3-point ball game, but you get the ball back again. Now, if you can put any drive together, game's over. Winnipeg needs 2 possessions.
2 possessions.
Now they need 1 and a 2-point convert.
And they're getting the football here.
And they get the football.
You know, I'm sold on your math.
Well, it's just two sides of the, you know.
So is Suter right?
Well, we'll see. Oh. We don't know yet.
You know, I'm looking for a safety to join my team that I'm getting together around the league, and Glenn's the guy. I've just decided Glenn's my guy.
I'll tell you what, math major SFU, there's no question in my mind. 1:53 on the clock. They've added 2 to the Winnipeg total. It is 29-21. Glenn is absolutely correct. An 8-point ball game. I guess the other part of the equation is you get the touchdown, then you have to have confidence that you can get the 2-point convert. We saw that last night is not always that easy.
No. I know. I mean, Winnipeg has a long shot either way.
Yeah.
No question.
But they've got a shot, and I think that's...
But now they have 1 possession instead of 2. But now Don Southern has the field position. So we can sit and second guess till I fall off the stool. But
he made the percentage play here, and now he wants his defense to step up and make it happen.
Why don't we phone Ron Lancaster and find out what he'd do? Vargas stands in and opens up. Intercepted. Southern made the right call, guys. Greg Vaughn, or Gerald Vaughn, 39. Second interception of the season.
What a great call by Don Southern.
That's what I was saying.
You know what that says, though? Southern has a lot of confidence in his defense, and he didn't think they could go the distance on his defense, and it's warranted right here.
Well, yeah, but I want to just look at the room that Chris Vargas had to run that football. I mean, he picks up a first down on his own.
The one thing Chris hasn't done that he's done all season long, that he hasn't done tonight, I mean, is he hasn't taken care of the football. He'd only thrown 1 interception coming in tonight.
He's thrown 4 tonight, guys.
He's thrown 4 tonight, and that's something he'd done really well throughout the year.
Ticats up 1:43 to rip off the clock. Amerson breaks away. Oh! Did he stay in? Yes. They're calling touchdown. An official followed him right down that tightrope on the near side. 32 yards touchdown.
That was a magic act. That was a tightrope job down the sideline.
It was as good as you'll ever see him staying in, but there was an official right on his tail.
Watch the little burst from Archie Amerson. Gets the stiff arm, and here comes the burst. Now, see if he can stay in bounds.
Oh, I don't know.
He's out of bounds about 5 times right there.
I think he took 3 steps on the line.
I don't know that that replay is conclusive.
Wow.
Amerson, 62 yards.
That's one of those calls where somebody's got an early plane flight.
On the night, Osbaldiston adds 1 more. Ticats are salting this one away with a 36-21 advantage as it stands at Winnipeg right now.
Friday night football tonight.
Friday Night Football on TSN is brought to you by Advantage, providing solutions for business. And by Gatorade. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
One thing about this, on Friday Night Football, you see it all. We've seen it all tonight.
This started out to be a game where there wasn't much offense and there was a lot of defense. Les Brown alluded to it at the half. He talked about how the defenses had set this game up to be a close one. And then the offenses have done some things here in the second half and that's the beauty of the game. I mean, that's what the game's all about. People that want offensive football, well, there's some defensive people out there getting paid to do their job too, huh, Glenn?
Absolutely. I mean, first half defensive battle, and we did see some offensive plays, but CFL wide open.
133 as Alford returns for Winnipeg. And he's out near midfield. You know, 26-21.
Talked a little bit about a couple of missed calls. I mean, maybe we had a bad angle of that sideline run there. But you think about the Colin Scribner interception on the sideline. But you know what? Full credit to Don Southern, his defensive effort tonight, and the play of Mike Colley in just his second start. You know, those penalties or missed calls by officials go back and forth, and you think
you can get one week and lose it the next.
Exactly. And you think of Don Southern losing 2 quarterbacks, or losing Anthony Calvillo to a controversial call, and it's gone the other way too.
Boyko, that's Bruce Boyko, swinging out of the backfield. He couldn't hang on.
I'll tell you, that kid's a quick study right there. Mike Colley struggling his first couple of outings, and what quarterback hasn't when he first gets into a ball game? Everybody has, and he's put together some good numbers tonight, and he led his team. That's the thing.
He's not a quitter. He has been to the Jets, to Atlanta, to Miami, to Detroit, to New Orleans. Out of Syracuse, through James Madison, and finally to Hamilton. Alford made the catch at the 40.
Yeah, he transferred from Syracuse to James Madison because Kevin Mason was the quarterback at Syracuse. So
that's a lot of stops along the way in the NFL. I think I missed one too, but I don't know which one. 13 yards for Alford. 5 catches, 105 yards. Alford got a late start. No one home. Wally was in that Don Southern club for a couple of weeks.
The Oprah
Club.
Well, he's out of it now. He got a great performance out of his front 4 in that game in Calgary against Saskatchewan.
He got out a week before Sudsy did. Stampeders went 0 for 3. Ticats went 0 for 4 before this victory in Winnipeg tonight.
You know, talking about that game tomorrow, it's an afternoon game between the Stampeders and the Rough Riders. And one of my favorite places to play, you played there many years, but one of my favorite places to play was Taylor Field, and nothing better than a day game at Taylor Field.
Oh, yeah. Be a good crowd,
one thing better, Labor Day at Taylor Field.
Jeff Reinbold will understand that tradition very soon.
Mike McCarthy not smiling yet as the director of player personnel for the Tiger Cats, but a weight's off his shoulders too.
I'll credit that whole group, and certainly we've left the kudos on Sudsy, and rightly so, but they've kept their nose to the grindstone to get this victory, and they won't stop here.
Vargas slips out, fires a rocket. Looking for O'Bannon, who has the 2 touchdowns tonight. Interesting, back to the Tiger Cats of '96 with Dunnigan at the controls. After 4 weeks, they were 3-1.
We were one of their victims. They were a high-powered, high-octane offense playing solid defense, and they've kept the solid defense just trying to find the gear on offense. They've got the talent on this ball club, especially with the Earl Winfield coming back. That's been fun to watch him tonight.
And that guy, Willie Whitehead, he's had a pretty good football game.
I want whoever votes on that MVP now for the defense, they better be voting for that guy right there.
You're lobbying.
Still a minute to go. It's slowed to a crawl with the Ticats' big lead. Amerson grabs a couple. Interesting story as the Argos pass the Alouettes into top spot this week. Montreal losing 2 in a row. And Hamilton and Winnipeg tied for 3rd at 1-4.
Remember, every game is so important because if the 3rd place, 4th place team in the West record is better than the 3rd place team in the East, the 4th place team in the West is in, or vice versa.
You got that?
They got a bad exchange between Colley and Archie Amerson, and Winnipeg has fallen on the football to create one more opportunity for their offense, but down 15 points at this point, it might be a moot point.
31 seconds unofficially on the clock. When you win, it's the players. When you lose, it's the coach. Often the story in professional sports. But this guy deserves some credit tonight because, as we talked earlier, the defense really held the Tiger Cats in a couple of times in this one tonight.
Guess what's coming?
And we got Gatorade.
Nice play by Dexter Dawson to knock that one out of there.
Eric Carter had a stat there. He was looking for the stat.
Okay, Sudsy, you've got win number 1. What do you think?
You know, it's kind of... It's kind of a humid night tonight. He's been wearing that jacket all night. That probably felt pretty good.
Yes. What do you think? We saw Reinbold get his first CFL win. We see Sudsy get dumped here. What was the best dunk, Winnipeg or Hamilton? Vargas still firing in there. And the Bombers drop one there. O'Bannon.
Toronto O'Bannon's played a heck of a game.
Yeah, late second half is when he came to life.
And that may be something that Winnipeg can hang their hat on, because they really hadn't had a lot of receivers step up for them. Milt Stiegel raised his level tonight, and Teron O'Bannon has stepped in and with injuries and shown that he needs to be on the field.
Vargas intercepted for the 5th time. They lateral it out. This is Aaron Ruffin. Picked off by Kyle Walters, in for Hitchcock at safety. Alertly flipped to Aaron Ruffin for the return. 5 interceptions by that Bomber quarterback. 1 by the other guy, Kevin McDougal. That's 6 tonight. And you see, that's when it starts to look bad, when those stats come out.
Well, fortunately in my career, I never threw that many, but I would imagine this is one of those films where Chris will go back and probably not want to watch it, and maybe just like to throw it on the scrap heap, maybe even torch it.
Yeah, if anything, he'll edit it to a couple of drives. Just watch 2 or 3 drives in the game.
Finally a conclusion in Hamilton. At least some of the heat is off Don Southern as the Ticats come away with their first victory. Much credit has to go to the guy holding the game ball, Ticat quarterback Mike Colley.
The game is over, and QB1 is over as well. And here is your final result.
New guy.
And a new guy wins. Congratulations to Don Southern getting his first win of the season, but Bob Obilovich, some very peculiar calls along the way by the guys in stripes that, I don't know, maybe took Winnipeg out of the game in the Scrivener call.
Well, there were definitely some turning points in the game, and I think the officials had a heck of a time tonight trying to decide whether or not the white lines were in play or out of bounds, because they missed a couple there in that 4th quarter that were unbelievable.
Well, I think John Wells was right. Don Southern deserves some credit for this. He gets to keep his job now. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I put the whammy on Vargas in the pregame.
Boy, you're in a serious slump.
Serious slump. I fall to 7-9. I say Vargas never makes mistakes, and he throws 4 interceptions. After all these years, I know now what Bob Obilovich must feel like, because I have a losing record now.
I mean, must have felt like, not feels like.
I just want to say these guys are
now you're correcting my
about
speech.
The officials, and I didn't say a word.
I can't believe this. You know, there have been complaints about the officials, and Les Brown is not the one getting the word in. Well, wonders never cease. Hamilton Tiger Cats have won a game, and they've won one for Don Southern. Marcus Thomas taking it in. Sports Desk is coming up next. The final score from Winnipeg Stadium, the Hamilton Tiger Cats 36, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 21. We're back tomorrow from Saskatchewan. From all of us here at Friday Night Football, thanks for watching. Have a great evening. So long.